hard, man. I ain't even gonna lie, it's hard. I've had to swallow some things.
Steve Harvey just sparked a whole wave online after speaking on Lori's dating life, and people are reading into every little detail. Lori went from being with Oscar winner Michael B. Jordan to Damson Idris, and the switch had everyone talking nonstop. Then things got even more uncomfortable when Damson showed up to the Oscars without her, and that moment had people watching closely and questioning what was really going on behind the scenes. The conversation is not slowed down at all, and Steve's reactions are a big reason why. He is never hidden the fact that he liked Michael.
I can't even touch his ass no more. I better not acknowledge him or look at him or nothing no more, so I'm off limits. If you are ex, your ass is my ex.
But now it feels even more obvious, especially after Michael's big Oscar win. If you really pay attention, Steve keeps giving Michael that extra attention, almost like he is still rooting for that situation to exist. Meanwhile, when it comes to Damson, there's been complete silence. No public support, no mentions, nothing at all. And people are starting to notice that gap. What makes it even more interesting is that Steve did not stop bringing up Michael even after the breakup. He kept mentioning him in interviews like everything was still the same, and that started to raise eyebrows. It reportedly got to a point where Lori had to step in and tell him to ease up because it was beginning to look messy and reflect back on her in a way she did not like. That detail alone has people wondering how much tension is really there behind closed doors. Now people are starting to say Damson has been moving in a way that looks like he is trying to keep up with or even outdo what Michael had going on, and Steve is clearly not impressed. Ever since Michael picked up that Oscar, the energy around all of this has felt even more intense in recent weeks. When Steve and Michael crossed paths at that basketball game, social media lit up fast. The moment spoke for itself. Steve looked genuinely happy, big smile, open body language, no hesitation at all, and people caught that instantly. That interaction stood out because it was not something people have seen him do with anyone else Lori has dated. When Steve runs into her other exes at events or games, he usually keeps things calm, respectful, and a bit distant. It's more of a polite exchange, nothing too deep. But with Michael, the vibe shifts completely, and the difference is hard to ignore. People online are picking apart that contrast and pointing out how natural and warm Steve seemed in that moment. It's becoming more clear that Steve has a real soft spot for Michael, and he's not trying to hide it. That was not a quick greeting or a casual nod before walking off. That was a full, genuine hug that carried meaning without needing words. It gave off the feeling that Steve once saw Michael as someone who could have truly been part of the family, and that connection clearly left a lasting impression that has not faded. This is not just random talk people made up. When Michael and Lori split, reports from someone close to her claimed the breakup came down to timing. Michael was ready to settle down, but she was not there yet. Allegedly, she wanted more time to date and figure herself out, and that difference ended up pulling them apart. When that news came out, it hit people harder than expected, and the reaction online was immediate and intense. Michael was later seen at a basketball game, and fans quickly noticed something felt off. His expression told a story people could not ignore. He looked disappointed, low energy, and not like himself at all. People watching started pointing it out right away, trying to read between the lines and understand what he might have been dealing with in that moment. Now bring it back to Steve, because that situation did not just fade away. In a later interview, Steve shared that Lori was not happy with how friendly he was being toward Michael, and she made it clear she did not want to see that kind of interaction happen again. That detail adds another layer to everything, because it hints at tension that may have been building behind the scenes. It shows that what people are seeing publicly might only be a small piece of a much more complicated dynamic. From what people are saying, her frustration did not come from Michael treating her badly. It seems more tied to how their public moments could make people start questioning what really happened between them. Because if things were truly messy, would Steve really be out there hugging him like that in front of everyone and looking completely comfortable doing it? That's the detail that keeps the conversation going non-stop. It makes people look closer and rethink everything they thought they knew. Now things get even more layered. because when the breakup first became public, there were reports claiming Lori and her mom, Marjorie, were trying to push a story that Michael had been involved with his ex. That's a heavy claim, and it immediately got people talking and questioning the situation. But when you compare that to how Steve is moving now, a lot of people are starting to wonder if that version of events fully makes sense.
It is hard for some people to believe he would be this open and friendly if someone had truly disrespected his daughter in that way. That disconnect is what has everyone looking at this situation from a different angle. And when you think about it, Steve has always been very vocal about how much he cares about Lori. Some even say he defends her more strongly than anyone else in his life. So seeing him still this cool with Michael is making people seriously question that cheating narrative and whether there is more to the story that has not been fully explained. From what people are saying, her frustration did not come from Michael treating her badly. It seems more tied to how their public moments could make people start questioning what really happened between them. Because if things were truly messy, would Steve really be out there hugging them like that in front of everyone and looking completely comfortable doing it? That is the detail that keeps the conversation going non-stop. It makes people look closer and rethink everything they thought they knew. Now things get even more layered, because when the breakup first became public, there were reports claiming Lori and her mom, Marjorie, were trying to push a story that Michael had been involved with his ex. That is a heavy claim, and it immediately got people talking and questioning the situation. But when you compare that to how Steve is moving now, a lot of people are starting to wonder if that version of events fully makes sense. It is hard for some people to believe he would be this open and friendly if someone had truly disrespected his daughter in that way. That disconnect is what has everyone looking at this situation from a different angle. And when you think about it, Steve has always been very vocal about how much he cares about Lori. Some even say he defends her more strongly than anyone else in his life. So seeing him still this cool with Michael is making people seriously question that cheating narrative and whether there is more to the story that has not been fully explained. Then Marjorie stepped in, and that is when things started to look even more questionable to a lot of people. She reposted a clip of Jennifer Lewis saying, "If you sit in ish for too long, it stops smelling, so come out of there." That message had people reading between the lines almost instantly, and many felt like it was a direct shot without actually naming anyone. At the same time, while Lori and her mom seemed to be shaping a certain narrative about Michael, Steve was moving in a completely different way behind the scenes, and that contrast did not go unnoticed. He started dropping subtle posts on Instagram that fans still talk about, and people did not see them as random at all. One post read, "Love yourself, my G," and then he followed it with, "Sometimes we need to thank God for what didn't happen." Those messages had people convinced he was quietly siding with Michael, or at least showing him some level of support. It added another layer to everything, because now it felt like mixed signals were coming from inside the same circle, and that only made the situation more confusing to outsiders trying to piece it all together. Things shifted again when Steve appeared in an interview with Hoda and Jenna, and he made a comment that caught a lot of attention. He hinted that Lori may have made a mistake walking away from Michael, and he did not really try to soften that message. He said, "She's growing up in the public eye," and that line stood out because it sounded like he was speaking from a more personal and honest place about what was going on. A lot of people felt like that was not just a general statement, but something tied directly to her choices. He went on to explain that unlike most people, she doesn't get the chance to make mistakes in private. According to him, most people can go through things quietly at home, but her life plays out in front of everyone watching. He added that she's still figuring things out and trying to get it right. But even with that context, people kept focusing on the deeper meaning behind his words and what he might really think about the breakup. Meanwhile, Michael stayed quiet at first and did not respond publicly, which only made people more curious about his side of the story. Then he showed up on SNL and completely changed the tone during the comedy segment. He slipped in a few jokes that had viewers connecting the dots right away. He referenced his past relationship with Lori in a way that made it seem like the breakup was not a loss for him, and that moment quickly became another talking point in an already layered situation. Things shifted again when Steve appeared in an interview with Hoda and Jenna, and he made a comment that caught a lot of attention. He hinted that Lori may have made a mistake walking away from Michael, and he did not really try to soften that message. He said she's growing up in the public eye, and that line stood out because it sounded like he was speaking from a more personal and honest place about what was going on. A lot of people felt like that was not just a general statement, but something tied directly to her choices. He went on to explain that unlike most people, she doesn't get the chance to make mistakes in private. According to him, most people can go through things quietly at home, but her life plays out in front of everyone watching. He added that she's still figuring things out and trying to get it right. But even with that context, people kept focusing on the deeper meaning behind his words and what he might really think about the breakup. Meanwhile, Michael stayed quiet at first and did not respond publicly, which only made people more curious about his side of the story. Then he showed up on SNL and completely changed the tone during the comedy segment. He slipped in a few jokes that had viewers connecting the dots right away. He referenced his past relationship with Lori in a way that made it seem like the breakup was not a loss for him, and that moment quickly became another talking point in an already layered situation.
He flipped the whole narrative and made it seem like the loss was not his at all, but hers. That moment caught a lot of people off guard because he had stayed quiet for so long, keeping everything low and not reacting publicly. So when he finally spoke in that way, even through jokes, it landed differently and got people talking fast. At the same time, some felt like it had been building for a while, especially with all the comments and subtle shade people believed were coming from Lori and her mom. Now a lot of people are saying he had every reason to finally say something and shift the story in his favor. And just when it felt like the situation could not get any louder, the internet started digging deeper into Lori and Damson's relationship. Once that happened, the reactions started going in completely different directions, with people analyzing every small detail and trying to figure out what was really going on. Many fans began pointing out how much more low-key everything feels now compared to what she had with Michael, and that difference stood out immediately. Some argued that Damson might simply prefer to keep things private and out of the spotlight, which could explain the change in energy, but not everyone agreed with that take. Others felt like the vibe just is not the same, especially after that Oscars moment where Lori was not by his side, and that single moment had people asking a lot of serious questions about their dynamic. At the same time, Michael has been moving in a completely different lane, fully focused on his career, showing up at major events, staying visible, and keeping his schedule packed. That shift has only made the comparisons louder online. People keep bringing up how things looked when he and Lori were together versus what is happening now, and the contrast keeps becoming harder for people to ignore as more moments play out in public. And Steve has not adjusted his energy at all through any of this. The way he reacts, the way he carries himself, and how he interacts with Michael continues to say a lot without him needing to explain anything directly. People are watching closely, breaking down every small interaction and turning it into a bigger conversation across social media and beyond. Nothing he does in this situation seems to go unnoticed anymore. At this point, the focus has shifted beyond just who Lori is dating. It has grown into a wider conversation about the full picture, including her choices, the timing of everything, and how all of it is unfolding in front of the public. The attention has not slowed down, and if anything, it keeps building as new details and moments get added into the mix. Now the conversation is evolving again, with more people starting to question what Lori actually wants moving forward. Some believe she is simply living her life and figuring things out at her own pace, while others feel like the constant changes are beginning to raise more questions than answers, especially with everything happening so publicly. At the same time, Damson's name keeps getting pulled deeper into the conversation, and not always in the best light. There's growing talk online that he may be trying to match the level Michael had, from the way he shows up publicly to his overall presence, but a lot of fans are quick to point out that it is not hitting the same for them. That opinion keeps spreading, especially as more people start paying closer attention to how everything looks side by side. What's making it even more intense is how social media keeps resurfacing old clips of Lori and Michael together and putting them next to what is happening now. From red carpet appearances to interviews and small interactions, people are lining up every detail and breaking it down piece by piece. Those comparisons are everywhere, and for many viewers, they're hard to ignore once you see them laid out like that.
Meanwhile, Steve is still moving the same way he has been, not saying too much directly, but letting his actions do the talking. Every time he is seen around Michael or reacts to anything connected to him, it adds another layer to the situation that keeps people watching closely. At this point, Lori is under intense public attention, with every move, every appearance, and every connection being analyzed from all angles. Every move she makes is getting analyzed in real time, and the public has turned this into an ongoing conversation that keeps growing with no signs of slowing down. But it does not end there, because things reportedly became even more tense after Michael's Oscar win. There is talk going around that Steve and Lori had another clash, and once again, Michael was right at the center of it, which only added more attention to an already intense situation. Here's what people have been saying. Marjorie Harvey allegedly reached out to Michael through calls and texts to congratulate him, but he did not respond. That detail alone got people talking immediately and questioning what that silence might mean. Then things took another turn. Steve also reached out to Michael personally to congratulate him, and that reportedly did not sit well with Lori at all, adding even more tension behind the scenes according to those same claims. Online reactions have been getting louder by the day. One person said Marjorie Harvey is gonna regret fumbling Michael B. Jordan, while others are making comments about her timeline and claiming Damson Idris is already being seen around other women. The opinions are coming from every direction, and the tone of the conversation keeps getting more intense as more people jump in and add their takes. Now it's your turn to speak on it. What do you think about Steve allegedly going off on Lori over Michael, and do you think she might try to spin the block after his Oscar win? A lot of people feel like this story is far from over, and the energy around it keeps building as new details and reactions continue to surface. Go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comments and say what you really think. If you made it, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Star Watch, and send this to someone who needs to stay in the loop on everything happening right now.
Now, so many get written about you in the press, but I just wanted to know, what is like the biggest misconception about who Marjorie Harvey is?
It's so funny because I'm so quiet.
Yeah.
There's been so many stories that have been made up about me. Like I've seen
Rumors have been heating up across social media about Future and Marjorie Harvey's highly talked about split, and now fresh speculation is making the rounds.
stories about me being like fully in love with somebody and we have like this whole relationship, and I'll see the guy and I'm like, I've actually never even met him before.
No.
Like full-blown stories I've heard. I've dated a father and son before.
Not true?
Absolutely not true. And I've even heard that I'm a lesbian at one point. So, you know, there's been a lot of different things.
You're
a
like,
lot of stories, a lot of misconceptions.
Does it entertain you?
Oh, I think they're hilarious. I love the stories. They're very entertaining. I will give them that.
Yeah.
Very entertaining, but I just let it roll off my shoulder.
According to ongoing gossip and unverified claims, some insiders believe Future may have discovered details about Lori's private lifestyle that he allegedly didn't know before their relationship ended. These claims have not been confirmed, but they have sparked a huge wave of discussion online and have people revisiting what may have led to the tension between the former couple. The word on the street is that Future could finally be ready to speak on what really happened behind the scenes during his breakup with Marjorie Harvey. According to speculation circulating online, he allegedly became upset after learning information that challenged the image he had of their relationship. Some reports claim this may have played a role in the public frustration and comments that followed after the split, though none of these rumors have been verified. There are also ongoing rumors suggesting that Lori has built connections with wealthy and high-profile figures through exclusive social circles. Supporters argue that she simply moves within elite celebrity spaces, while critics continue to push more dramatic theories. Either way, the conversation refuses to slow down. Many fans have pointed out that Lori is frequently seen on luxury yachts in places like Saint-Tropez, Ibiza, and Mexico, often surrounded by celebrities, influencers, and other well-known faces. Those glamorous photos have only added more mystery to the speculation, leaving social media users debating what is real and what is simply internet gossip. Since the term yachting has become popular online slang, many internet users now use it to describe alleged relationships between wealthy individuals and attractive companions in luxury travel settings.
On my birthday, he had shown me a picture of me and him, the first pic that we ever took, and I was like, you should save that as your screensaver. So he was like, I don't know how. So I was trying to show him, and I saved the picture to his photo album on his phone, and then I clicked on the photo album to like set it as a screensaver, and I saw a picture of him and Lori, like the same exact pose.
What do you mean?
I mean, the same exact pose that he took with me.
Okay.
And he did the same with Lori.
Were they clothed or not?
No.
They weren't clothed?
No.
Lori Harvey.
Because of that, every time Marjorie Harvey is seen on lavish yacht trips or exclusive getaways, speculation quickly follows. Some online rumors and blind items over the years have claimed that she participated in these kinds of arrangements, though no evidence has publicly confirmed those claims. There have even been rumors suggesting that certain high-profile men only spent short periods of time around her, with some gossip accounts alleging that Future may have known more about those stories than the public does. Of course, all of this remains speculation, and there is no verified proof behind many of the claims being shared online. Still, the conversation continues because Lori's dating history has attracted enormous public attention. Over the years, she has been linked to several well-known celebrities, including Future, Michael B. Jordan, Damson Idris, Trey Songz, and others. Because so many famous names have been associated with her, social media users often turn her relationships into a much bigger discussion than they would for most public figures. One of the most talked about situations involves Sean Diddy Combs. Rumors about the two gained traction after they were photographed together on multiple luxury trips and outings in places such as Italy, Mexico, New York City, and Atlanta. The situation drew even more attention because Lori had also previously been linked by rumors to Diddy's son, Justin Combs. However, Lori publicly denied dating either Diddy or Justin, despite the intense speculation that surrounded those reports. A lot of people were confused when rumors connected Marjorie Harvey and Diddy because, from the outside looking in, the situation raised plenty of questions.
Marjorie Harvey was hanging out with, and it's kind of weird, like the whole relationship with Justin looks weird. He looks like Mini-Me with Dr. Evil. It's weird. Like, why are there people? Why is there SCA behavior going on? And why are people naked in front of their kids, G? Doing all kinds of stuff.
Online discussions at the time focused heavily on the age gap, the public attention surrounding the relationship, and the fact that Lori's family appeared comfortable being around them during various outings and trips. That alone was enough to keep gossip pages busy for months. Reports and photos from that period showed the family spending time together, and many observers wondered what everyone really thought about the relationship behind closed doors. As more conversations started spreading online, people began creating their own theories about why the relationship existed in the first place. After later controversies involving Diddy became major news, internet users revisited those old rumors and started looking at the situation through a completely different lens. Some gossip accounts pushed claims that the relationship may have been motivated by financial or business interests rather than romance. Others went even further with dramatic accusations involving Lori's family. However, none of those allegations have been proven, and they remain part of online speculation rather than established fact. Many people revisiting the rumors surrounding Lori have pointed to allegations that surfaced in Cassie's lawsuit against Diddy. According to the lawsuit, Cassie claims she was introduced to Diddy's lavish and fast-moving lifestyle shortly after meeting him and signing to his label as a young adult. She also alleged that over the years she was involved in private events organized by Diddy that took place in luxury hotels and private residences across the country. Cassie further claimed that these gatherings followed specific rules and expectations, and that Diddy documented parts of what happened. According to her allegations, she believed certain recordings had been deleted, only to later discover that copies allegedly still existed. One story from the lawsuit that drew major attention involved an incident on a flight where she claimed Diddy showed her footage that she thought had already been erased. As those allegations spread across headlines, internet investigators started revisiting old photos and videos connected to people in Diddy's circle. Some social media users began comparing details from Cassie's claims to public images featuring various celebrities, including Lori. One detail that sparked online debate was Lori's white nail polish in some photos, which led people to create theories linking unrelated events together. The speculation grew even louder when Diddy's former partner, Gina Huang, reportedly claimed she had seen private photos involving Diddy and Lori on his phone. That statement quickly became another talking point.
Social media, my lawyer told me to call the police to document it just because we're going to be in a lawsuit as well from all the situation.
So when did this happen?
It's been happening the past 3 days.
So what you're going to...
However, many of the conclusions being drawn online remain unverified, and the public discussion has largely been driven by rumors, allegations, and social media theories rather than confirmed facts. As the rumors surrounding Lori Harvey continued to circulate online, another voice entered the conversation and added even more controversy to an already complicated story. Social media personality Jaguar Wright publicly criticized several high-profile figures in the entertainment industry, arguing that powerful people often protect one another when uncomfortable questions arise. During those comments, she referenced the Harvey family and used Lori's past public relationships as part of her broader argument about how celebrity circles operate behind the scenes. According to Jaguar, she believes there is no chance that people close to certain industry figures were completely unaware of the controversies and rumors that surrounded them. She suggested that maintaining influence, status, and business connections may have motivated some people to avoid speaking out. Jaguar also repeated speculation that has circulated online about Lori's relationships, though she did not present verified evidence to support those claims. Some internet users have compared those comments to the criticism that Future appeared to direct at Lori following their breakup. However, others question whether Future's remarks should be viewed as reliable, considering the public fallout between the two and the emotions that often come with high-profile splits. After their relationship ended, Future made headlines when he appeared to reference Lori and her family in lyrics featured on 42 Doug's extended version of Maybach. In the song, he rapped, "Magic City, I'm the owner. Tell Steve Harvey I don't want her." Fans immediately interpreted the line as a direct shot at Lori. Reports at the time also noted that an earlier version of the verse allegedly contained even sharper lyrics aimed at both Lori and actor Michael B. Jordan, who she was later linked to romantically. The verse quickly fueled online debates and added another chapter to the public drama surrounding the breakup. Future didn't stop there with the lyrics either. In the verse, he continued with more flashy boasts and personal jabs that many listeners believed were aimed directly at Lori and the people around her. The song quickly became a hot topic online, with fans breaking down every line and debating whether he was speaking from a place of hurt, frustration, or pure pettiness. Lori, however, took a very different approach when addressing the situation. Rather than firing back with her own public comments, she appeared focused on keeping her composure. As she put it, "I just try to stay up here and take the high road in every situation, back and forth with it or whatever. Just maintain my position of I know who I am, I know what's going on. I like to just give enough." That response earned attention because it stood in sharp contrast to the drama unfolding around her. At the time, much of the internet seemed to dismiss Future's comments altogether. A lot of people assumed it was simply another example of a famous breakup turning messy in public. From their perspective, Future looked like an ex who was struggling to move on, while Lori appeared determined not to get dragged into an online feud. The skepticism wasn't exactly surprising either. By that point, Future had already developed a reputation for being at the center of relationship drama. Over the years, his personal life has generated countless headlines involving former partners, public disputes, social media call-outs, and ongoing rumors. Because of that history, many fans automatically question whether his comments about Lori should be taken seriously or viewed as just another chapter in a long-running pattern of post-breakup controversy. Adding even more fuel to the conversation, model Gorgeous Doll later made claims on social media that she had been involved in a years-long relationship with Future and alleged that he was unfaithful during that time. Those allegations sparked another wave of debate, further reinforcing the public image that has followed Future throughout much of his career. Future's complicated personal life is also one reason why some people hesitate to accept his claims at face value. Over the years, he has been involved in several highly publicized legal disputes and disagreements involving former partners, many of which played out in the public eye and generated major headlines. One of the most discussed cases involved Eliza Reign, who filed a lawsuit related to disputes with Future after the birth of their daughter. According to court filings and public statements, Eliza alleged that Future made comments that damaged her reputation and portrayed her negatively. The legal battle attracted significant media attention and became one of the most talked about controversies surrounding the rapper. Around that same period, another former partner, Cindy Parker, was also involved in a separate legal dispute concerning child support and parental responsibilities. The situation gained additional attention when reports surfaced that both women were publicly sharing developments related to their respective cases on social media. Their posts quickly became a topic of discussion across blogs and entertainment outlets. The legal challenges did not end there. Over the years, other former partners, including Brittany Mealy, have also been involved in public disagreements or legal matters connected to Future. Meanwhile, his past relationship with Ciara has remained one of the most heavily scrutinized celebrity breakups in recent memory, with fans and media outlets continuing to revisit aspects of their history long after their split. All of this has contributed to Future's reputation as a celebrity whose personal relationships often become major public controversies. With so much public drama tied to Future's personal life over the years, many people naturally viewed his comments about Marjorie Harvey as nothing more than another example of a messy celebrity breakup. Given his history of public disputes, relationship controversies, and headline-making feuds, a lot of fans assumed his remarks were driven by frustration rather than insider knowledge. As a result, many initially brushed off his criticism and moved on. Recently, however, some social media users have started revisiting that period and looking at it from a different perspective. As old rumors and unverified theories about Marjorie have resurfaced online, certain commentators have argued that Future's comments may have been motivated by more than simple post-breakup bitterness. Others strongly disagree and maintain that there is still no verified evidence connecting his remarks to the speculation now being discussed. Either way, the renewed interest has reignited debate around a relationship that continues to attract attention years later. As these rumors continue making the rounds online, some people are now arguing that Future may have had deeper reasons for being upset after the relationship ended. According to ongoing speculation, he allegedly believed there was more happening behind the scenes than what the public saw. Some commentators claim that if Future was truly frustrated, it may have been because he felt misled about certain aspects of the relationship. Others believe the entire situation is simply being exaggerated by internet gossip and fans looking for a new angle on an old celebrity breakup. At the same time, critics of that theory point out that there is still no verified evidence supporting many of the claims being shared online. Because of that, plenty of people remain convinced that Future's comments were nothing more than the reaction of an unhappy ex dealing with a very public breakup. The debate has become a battle between speculation and facts, with both sides convinced they have the better argument. So, what do you think? Is there more to this story than the public knows? Or are people reading far too much into old rumors and social media theories? Do you believe Future was trying to hint at something specific? Or was he simply reacting emotionally after the relationship ended? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this conversation is definitely not slowing down anytime soon. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to Star Watch, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest celebrity news, viral stories, and entertainment drama making headlines across social media. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.
I'm gonna destroy Steve Harvey. And I'm going, wait, we're doing comedy. You know, we're not rappers, this ain't a beef.
Steve Harvey is reportedly upset after Katt Williams brought up claims about Marjorie's alleged past relationships.
I didn't believe Katt Williams when he talked. What's the real story between you guys?
If you sign up for their program, you get a light-skinned, weird-faced wife that never do it in.
And fans think this goes far beyond a comedy dispute. What began as jokes about Steve's career turned personal when Katt hinted at private issues in Steve and Marjorie's marriage. Many dismissed it as attention-seeking at first, but old cheating rumors soon resurfaced online. Past interviews started circulating again, and some people connected to Steve allegedly suggested things may not be as perfect as they appear.
I was just...
Right here.
I was just...
What did you say, though?
Pool boy.
Hand off of me. Trade me in for no damn pool boy. Pool boy!
When the comments gained traction, Steve quickly responded during the Steve and Marjorie Harvey Foundation's Charity Golf Classic. He said, "Katt Williams ain't. I can't say it on the radio." After that, many fans thought the drama had finally died down. But then Steve appeared on The Real Clark and addressed Katt once again. Steve made it clear that he believed Katt's claims were completely untrue. He also suggested that Katt's criticism may have come from resentment over Steve's level of success and public recognition. Many people weren't surprised by Steve's reaction, considering how strongly Katt had criticized him. Katt accused Steve of borrowing jokes, changing for fame, and questioned whether Steve and Marjorie's marriage was as flawless as it appeared. He also suggested that Marjorie became part of the public image Steve embraced as his career grew. At first, many people dismissed those remarks. As debate continued online, Katt reportedly repeated his claims and referenced long-running rumors about Marjorie's alleged connections within the entertainment industry. Around the same time, social media revived old cheating rumors involving Marjorie. These claims, including allegations involving someone from Steve's circle, were never verified, but they continue to be discussed by fans. There was even an interview where the alleged affair rumors were discussed publicly, which helped spread the speculation online.
First of all, when I said that I was on stage at Earn Your Leisure, I was really just joking. I slap you, perm, all this. I was really just in front of a whole lot of people. I was really just joking. I don't really, if I had a chance to talk to Katt about anything, I would just ask him what's wrong.
Still, Steve and Marjorie strongly denied the claims and quickly rejected the gossip. Despite that, critics revisited Marjorie's past relationships and old stories involving her former husband, Jim Townsend. Some reports claim Townsend said he and Marjorie remained in contact not long before her 2007 marriage to Steve. Marjorie and Townsend were married in the 1990s and shared children. Townsend also drew public attention because of a criminal case that resulted in a life sentence before he was later released after serving many years. As those stories resurfaced, more attention turned to how Steve and Marjorie first met. In a 2014 interview with Essence, Steve recalled telling Marjorie, "I don't know who you are, but I'm going to marry you," a remark that sparked renewed discussion about their early relationship timeline. After the rumors resurfaced, some fans began wondering whether Katt Williams' comments had more impact than people initially believed. One of the biggest online theories claimed Steve remained in the marriage because he felt pressured by Marjorie behind the scenes. That speculation gained attention after a leaked phone conversation involving Shirley Strawberry and her husband, Ernest Williams, circulated online. In the call, Strawberry reportedly said, "If she was there, we probably wouldn't have been all over the house. You know he's scared."
When I found out he was having problems with his, I said, a brother with 400 million can't keep a brother with $100 ain't got a shot.
"I knew I wasn't supposed to be in there, but he brought us in." The clip quickly sparked debate across social media, with some viewers connecting it to claims already being discussed online about Steve and Marjorie's relationship. As the audio spread, fans revisited old interviews and public appearances, looking for clues. Some interpreted certain moments as awkward, while others felt Marjorie often took the lead during discussions about their relationship. However, these remain opinions and online theories, not confirmed facts. Then online commentators pushed the discussion further by revisiting long-running entertainment industry rumors involving influential celebrities and exclusive social circles. As a result, Katt's earlier remarks started receiving renewed attention. Some people who had dismissed his comments began wondering whether he knew more than he had publicly shared. Steve's decision to mostly stay quiet afterward only fueled more speculation. Rather than continuing to respond, he appeared to step back from the public back and forth, which some fans viewed as unusual. At the same time, blogs and gossip sites continued posting alleged insider claims that the feud was exposing tensions behind Steve and Marjorie's carefully maintained public image. Then, an older interview featuring Steve went viral again. In it, he discussed loyalty, respect, and protecting relationships from outside influences. Online users closely analyzed the clip, interpreting his words and reactions in different ways.
That's one of the things that Marjorie, when she told me before she married Steve Harvey, they was dating. Because now be mindful that all this time we talking, even while she was dating. I could call her anytime, day or night. Me and Laura's daddy talked, and I thanked him for looking out for the family. We had that kind of rapport, I called him and I thanked him for, and like I said, for 20 years, Marjorie brought the kids to visit. As a friend, we just friends now. She done gone over her life, dating and whatever she doing.
At the same time, Katt Williams continued trending as many people felt his comments had sparked discussions about topics Hollywood rarely addresses publicly. Bloggers, podcasters, and reaction channels began linking different rumors together, claiming there had long been whispers about issues within Steve and Marjorie's marriage. The conversation grew even larger when alleged insiders hinted that some people in the entertainment industry were already aware of possible tensions. None of those claims were verified, but they fueled even more online speculation. What began as a comedy dispute quickly became one of the most discussed celebrity stories online, with fans closely following every new development. Meanwhile, some viewers noticed Steve appearing more cautious during public appearances. Relationship-related comments were frequently clipped and shared across social media, where users searched for deeper meaning. Katt remained at the center of the debate, while opinions stayed divided. Some believed he had challenged a carefully crafted public image, while others argued that unverified rumors were being treated as facts without evidence. But the biggest surprise came when older stories about Steve's past relationships resurfaced alongside the newer rumors. Critics began questioning whether the history of Steve and Marjorie's relationship was more complex than many fans had assumed. With blogs, podcasts, and reaction channels covering every development, the story became a major topic across social media. Another twist followed when people started comparing Steve's recent public appearances to interviews and events from years ago. Some online commentators claimed he appeared more reserved whenever discussions about family or marriage came up. Clips from talk shows and red carpet appearances were widely shared and analyzed, with viewers searching for clues in his reactions. At the same time, gossip accounts continued posting claims that people close to the couple had privately discussed challenges in the relationship.
Hey man, just because a person sits on the show and don't hesitate or say or and speaks eloquently, that don't mean it's true. That just don't mean it's true, man. And I probably shouldn't have said anything. That's a regret I have. I really shouldn't have said nothing, because we not in the same league, dog.
Some reports suggested that certain industry figures were aware of rough periods long before Katt Williams made his public comments. However, none of these claims were independently verified. The debate then expanded beyond Steve and Marjorie. Some fans argued that Katt's remarks raised broader questions about how celebrity relationships are presented to the public. The conversation shifted toward topics like fame, image management, and the gap between public perception and private reality, keeping the discussion active across social media. Every new public appearance became a talking point online, with fans searching for signs that something might be happening behind the scenes. Even routine social media posts were flooded with comments mentioning the controversy and bringing Katt Williams back into the discussion. What made the situation stand out was how divided opinions became. Some people strongly defended Steve, arguing that personal relationships should not be discussed publicly. Others felt Katt had raised questions that deserved attention. The debate grew so large that reaction channels and celebrity blogs covered nearly every update. Older clips of Steve discussing trust, loyalty, and relationships also resurfaced, leading some online users to connect those comments to the ongoing rumors. As more people weighed in, the conversation continued to spread across social media, with different groups offering their own interpretations of the situation. Supporters of Katt Williams argued that he had raised topics many influential people in Hollywood would rather avoid. On the other side, Steve's supporters insisted that rumors and online speculation were being treated as facts without solid evidence.
Y'all belong to me and I belong to y'all. Good and bad. Before I get started, just let me say, I'm fine. Marjorie's fine. What y'all doing is find something else to do, because we fine.
Even so, many people continued revisiting old interviews and stories involving Steve and Marjorie. Viral posts and discussion threads appeared across social media, with users creating timelines of the couple's relationship and highlighting moments they viewed differently in hindsight. Some clips gained millions of views as debates grew over whether the pair had faced private challenges over the years. Just as the conversation seemed to be slowing down, more speculation emerged when fans noticed Steve becoming increasingly private. Some believed he was simply exhausted by the constant attention, while others interpreted his silence in different ways. By then, the discussion had expanded far beyond a single interview. Many online users shifted the focus to celebrity image building, arguing that Steve and Marjorie's long-standing reputation as a successful power couple made the rumors even more attention-grabbing. Every motivational speech, relationship discussion, and public appearance involving Steve started being viewed differently by online audiences. At the same time, more content creators joined the conversation, producing podcasts and live streams focused on the rumors. Some argued that fame encourages public figures to carefully protect their image, while others said the internet was turning speculation into something much larger than the available facts. The attention surrounding Steve, Marjorie, and Katt Williams continued to grow. Katt rarely needed to add new comments because social media users kept revisiting old headlines, sharing past stories, and connecting unrelated moments to the controversy. What began with a few high-profile remarks had evolved into an ongoing online debate, with many people waiting to see whether another celebrity would address the situation. The discussion intensified when fans noticed that some public figures appeared hesitant to comment on the topic during interviews and podcasts.
Forward Club, he's over here ripping me again. I heard Kevin Hart say certain things, but I've stayed quiet about it. So the clip is everywhere. It's the most viral clip ever.
Yeah, it's out there.
On Club Station.
That observation sparked even more speculation, with online users wondering whether there were broader industry dynamics that remained out of public view. At the same time, older comedy clips featuring Katt Williams began gaining attention again as some fans revisited his past jokes and interviews. Certain social media users argued that he had hinted at larger industry topics years before this controversy became a major online discussion. Whether people agreed with him or not, his comments had clearly captured public attention. Meanwhile, Steve continued focusing on his projects and appearances, but online conversations showed little sign of slowing down. Nearly every public move sparked new reactions, while blogs and commentators continued sharing theories and opinions. What made the story stand out was how it expanded beyond celebrity gossip into a broader debate about fame, influence, and the speed at which public opinion can shift when rumors dominate headlines. As new reactions spread across social media, the discussion returned to trending topics once again. Many users debated whether high-profile relationships can remain completely authentic under constant public scrutiny, while others pointed to how quickly online speculation can grow into a much larger cultural conversation. A single interview clip, old quote, or brief reaction can quickly become the center of online speculation. That is what happened here, as social media users continued revisiting past moments and creating new theories around them. Supporters of Katt Williams argued that he voiced opinions some people in the entertainment industry were already discussing privately. Others believed the story had been amplified by gossip sites and content creators looking to capitalize on public interest. Regardless of where people stood, the topic grew into one of the internet's most discussed celebrity conversations, with increasing attention on Steve and Marjorie's relationship. As the debate continued, nearly every public appearance by Steve generated reactions online. While many expected him to address the rumors directly, his comments largely remained focused on work, success, and maintaining a positive outlook. At the same time, Steve's supporters argued that online discussions had gone too far by turning unverified personal rumors into constant entertainment. They noted that many of the biggest claims circulating online had never been proven. Critics, however, argued that the lack of clear answers only encouraged more speculation. Meanwhile, Katt Williams remained a central figure in the conversation. Fans continued sharing clips of his original remarks and analyzing his later comments for additional meaning. What started as a comedy-related dispute had evolved into a much larger discussion about celebrity image, loyalty, fame, and the power of online rumors. Even after weeks of headlines, public interest showed little sign of fading. New reaction videos, blog posts, and live streams kept the topic active, with people debating which claims were credible and which had been exaggerated. For some, the situation highlighted how quickly celebrity gossip can spread online, while others believed there were still unanswered questions driving the discussion. What kept the story gaining attention was the uncertainty surrounding it. Steve and Marjorie continued making public appearances together, appearing positive and composed, but that did little to slow online speculation. Social media users continued analyzing photos, videos, and interactions, looking for signs that something might be happening behind the scenes. Katt Williams also remained tied to the discussion because many fans felt his comments had permanently changed how people viewed Steve and Marjorie's relationship. Whether his remarks reflected real concerns or simply amplified existing rumors, they helped spark one of the most talked about celebrity debates online. As interest continued growing, many people wondered whether a new interview, viral clip, or unexpected claim would reignite the story once again. By that point, the controversy had expanded beyond celebrity gossip and attracted attention from audiences who normally paid little attention to entertainment drama. Social media platforms filled with theories, reaction videos, and debates about what was really happening. Some users believed the public was questioning a long-established celebrity image, while others argued that speculation was being mistaken for evidence. The conversation grew again when an older motivational clip of Steve resurfaced. In the video, he spoke about trust, loyalty, and protecting your peace from negativity. Online users quickly linked those comments to the ongoing rumors, while others argued that people were reading too much into a message that had nothing to do with the controversy. At the same time, gossip blogs continued sharing alleged insider accounts, claiming the controversy had created tension within parts of the entertainment industry. None of those reports were verified, but they still generated significant attention online. What began as a dispute involving comedians had grown into a major internet story, with many people wondering how long the discussion would continue before someone involved addressed it again. As the debate expanded, more users began questioning the role public image plays in celebrity culture. Many pointed out that high-profile couples often face pressure to appear flawless in public, regardless of any private challenges they may experience. That broader discussion helped keep interest in the Steve, Marjorie, and Katt Williams story alive. Reaction channels also started comparing the controversy to other celebrity disputes that began with jokes and later evolved into larger public debates. Some commentators argued that Katt's remarks gained traction because audiences were eager to question established celebrity narratives. Others maintained that online speculation was moving faster than the available evidence, even as new posts about Steve or Marjorie continued to spread widely. Fans examined body language, revisited old interviews, and debated whether all the attention had changed how the public viewed Steve and Marjorie. Even though many of the biggest allegations were never confirmed, the constant speculation kept the story active online. What started as a single dispute grew into a much larger conversation about fame, privacy, and public perception. At this stage, some fans openly support Katt Williams' perspective. One person wrote, "I believe Katt. Katt does not say anything he can't back up, something he calls receipts. Steve and Marjorie are living a lie." Others pointed to past controversies involving Steve or revisited discussions about Marjorie's previous relationships and her former husband, Jim Townsend. Those conversations added even more attention to the ongoing rumors. However, it is important to note that many of the claims circulating online remain unverified and should not be treated as established facts. What is clear is that Katt Williams helped spark one of the internet's biggest celebrity debates, and people remain divided over whether he revealed important truths or simply intensified an already controversial situation. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to Star Watch for more celebrity news, trending stories, and entertainment updates.
And I think she gave Michael B. Jordan a lot of grace in that breakup because I heard what the streets were saying about that, and I would love for her at some point
to come on. What's the streets saying, Jason?
Well, they said Michael B. allegedly was cheating on her.
You never really know what's happening behind those perfect celebrity photos until everything starts falling apart.
You know, I know you just started dating this year, so how are we going to handle that?
1 minute, it's luxury trips, red carpets, and matching outfits. Next minute, it's silence, shady posts, and rumors flying in every direction.
It was an experience for me to grow, you know, and learn.
Because I'm so quiet, there's been so many stories that have been made up about me. Like I've seen stories about me being like fully in love with somebody and we have like this whole relationship and I'll see the guy and I'm like, I've actually never even met him before.
And when it comes to Marjorie Harvey and Michael B. Jordan, what looked like a flawless, picture-perfect relationship quickly turned into one of the most talked about breakups online. At first, it seemed simple, two people going their separate ways, nothing too dramatic. But the deeper people started digging, the more the story began to twist. Cryptic messages, unexpected reactions, and insiders speaking out all started to paint a completely different picture. Suddenly, this wasn't just a quiet breakup anymore. It was a situation filled with questions, side eyes, and a whole lot of speculation. And just when it felt like things couldn't get any more intense, new details started surfacing that had everyone rethinking what they thought they knew. Because sometimes the real story isn't the one you see, it's the one people try to keep hidden. Marjorie Harvey is finally stepping in, and this time she's laying it all out with zero filter about why Lori and Michael really called it quits, and the truth is way messier than people expected. For the longest time, the story floating around was that Michael walked away because Lori wasn't ready to settle down, and people ran with that like it was the full story. Yes, that played a part, but that's not even close to the whole picture, and now it's starting to look like he had his own issues that nobody was talking about. If you really pay attention, the situation doesn't add up the way fans tried to frame it. Look at how things went with Damson. They broke up, went their separate ways, and then somehow found their way back together again. That kind of connection doesn't just disappear overnight. So it makes people wonder if Lori and Michael were really that strong. Why didn't they reconnect too? Why was there no second chance in that situation? That question alone is making people rethink everything they thought they knew. Marjorie clearly wasn't about to keep sitting back while her daughter kept getting blamed and criticized online. She's stepping forward now, speaking with confidence and making it clear there's way more to this story than what was being said before, and the way these new details are coming out, it's got people shocked, side-eyeing old narratives, and realizing the truth might be very different from what they believed. If you've been paying attention to Lori's dating life, then you already know things don't move slow, they move lightning fast. One minute she's all in, smiling, showing up together, everything looking picture perfect, and the next minute, it's over, clean cut, no dragging it out. And when it came to Michael, it followed that exact same script. They got together around January 2021, quickly turned into one of the internet's favorite couples, always looking polished and locked in. But by June 2022, it was completely done. No warning signs, just finished. But the real chaos didn't even start until after the breakup. Almost immediately, a strong narrative started getting pushed, painting Michael as just another guy who got caught up in Lori's world and ended up left behind. That story spread fast, and people grabbed onto it without asking too many questions. Suddenly, it became, she ran through him, and folks kept repeating it like it was confirmed truth. But behind the scenes, it wasn't lining up that clean, and there were clear signs that the situation had way more layers than people were being told. Lori chose to stay quiet while all this talk kept building, not rushing to defend herself or correct every rumor being thrown around. That silence had people even more curious, reading into every little move. But her parents? They weren't playing that quiet game at all. Steve Harvey stepped in with posts that felt anything but random. First, he dropped, "Love yourself, my G," and people instantly started connecting it to Lori and what she might have been dealing with. Then he followed up with, "Sometimes we need to thank God for what didn't happen," and that had everybody pausing like, okay, what really went wrong here? Then came the interview that really shook things up. Sitting down with Hoda and Jenna, Steve didn't tiptoe around it. He straight up called Lori and Michael's relationship a mistake. He said, "She's growing up as a public figure. She doesn't get to make her mistakes like everybody else. Everybody else gets to make their mistakes in the cloak of darkness at your house. Hers gets publicized. And just when you thought he was done," he added. "But she's done a really good job of figuring it out and getting it right." That comment alone had people dissecting every word, trying to read between the lines. And Marjorie? She slid in with her own message, and it hit just as hard. She reposted a clip of Jennifer Lewis saying, "If you sit in it for too long, it stops smelling, so come up out of there." And even without dropping a name, the meaning felt loud. People caught on to it immediately, and it only turned the volume up on an already intense situation. People didn't waste any time reading into Marjorie's post, and a lot of them took it as a direct shot at Michael. That's when the rumors really started picking up speed, with folks online questioning if something deeper happened behind the scenes. And let's be real, Marjorie isn't new to posting bold stuff, but when it comes to Lori's past relationships, she usually keeps it neutral. So for her to come out like that, it had people thinking this situation hit different, like Michael may have crossed a line that couldn't just be brushed off. Then Lori herself did something that had everybody talking even more. Normally, she keeps things smooth and quiet, never calling out her exes, never throwing shade. She just moves on like nothing happened. But this time, she switched the energy completely. She posted a photo on her IG story of a license plate that read "Dump him," and it didn't feel random at all. People instantly took it as a message aimed straight at Michael, and it only added more fuel to the conversation. At that point, it started to look like her whole circle was subtly speaking out, each move making people side-eye the situation a little harder. And instead of things calming down, the tension kept building. Lori eventually seemed to address things in her own indirect way, and that's when rumors started circulating that she believed Michael had been unfaithful during their relationship. There was talk that he may have still been connected to someone from his past, which only made the story even messier. Some of the online chatter went even further, making bigger claims about his personal preferences, but those remain unconfirmed and shouldn't be treated like solid facts. Still, the timing, the posts, and the reactions from her family had people questioning everything, trying to piece together what really went down behind closed doors. Lori didn't spell everything out, but during her interview with Teyana Taylor, she definitely dropped enough hints for people to start putting the pieces together.
Most important flags, red or green, that you look for upon meeting someone?
I would say if you're too close to your exes, that's a red flag.
Bullshit that they said that she wasn't ready, because when a woman finds a good one, then that's what you're looking for. I think the established relationship that Michael did have before this one, I think that maybe that social media, that all of that was a lot for him. And I think that he, I heard about his ex, and him was so serious that he may have missed.
The tone, the little details, the way she spoke it had viewers reading between the lines heavy. And once that clip started making rounds, people went straight for Michael online. No hesitation. The backlash came quick and loud, with everyone forming opinions and picking sides. Meanwhile, Michael stayed completely silent through all of it, not saying a single word, which only made the situation feel even more suspicious to some. And then Lisa Ray, who's known to be close with Marjorie, came through and echoed similar sentiments, and that just added more pressure to the whole situation. Then things took an even wilder turn. Not long after, Michael's name suddenly came up in connection with Sean Combs' legal situation, along with names like Kid Cudi, Lauren London, and several other celebrities. That alone had people shocked, and of course, the internet started spinning all kinds of theories. At first, some assumed he was tied to those rumored freak-off tapes, but that narrative didn't hold up for long and was quickly corrected. What actually came out was that Michael was mentioned because of a past relationship with Cassie back in 2015, during a period when she and Sean were reportedly on a break. But even that detail came with serious tension. Reports suggested that when Sean found out, he reacted aggressively and reached out to Michael in a threatening way. And by that time, there were already stories circulating about other intense incidents, including the situation involving Kid Cudi's car, which made everything feel even more serious. So when that alleged call happened, you can only imagine the level of pressure Michael might have felt in that moment. The situation sounded tense, unpredictable, and honestly overwhelming, adding yet another layer to an already complicated story. At the time, he might have thought that whole situation was behind him, like it didn't need to be brought up again. But according to what's been said, Michael never told Lori anything about his past connection to all that drama involving Sean. Now, to be fair, nobody is saying you have to give a full history lesson on every single ex, especially stuff that happened before the relationship even started. Lori wasn't there when all that went down, so technically, he didn't know a full breakdown like that. But here's where it starts to feel a little different. Cassie wasn't just some random past situation. This was someone tied to a serious moment with reports of threats and tension connected to it. That kind of history hits different, especially when it involves high-profile people and situations that didn't exactly end smoothly. It's not just casual history you brush past like nothing happened. And then you add another layer to it. Lori and Sean already had their own history. So naturally, people are wondering how that topic never came up in conversation at all. With all those connections overlapping, it feels like something that would have at least been mentioned at some point. But instead, it seems like Michael chose to keep that part of his past completely to himself. What really has people talking is the idea that Lori may have only found out after the breakup, once everything started coming out publicly. Just imagine that for a second, being with someone for over a year, thinking you know their story, and then after it's over, you find out they once had a situation with someone connected to your own past. That kind of reveal would catch anybody off guard and leave a lot of unanswered questions. Anyway, instead of the rumors dying down, they actually got even louder when Jason Lee stepped in with his own story, and that's when things really started spiraling. He shared that he ran into Lori at the Essence Festival after the breakup, and according to him, that interaction spoke volumes without her even needing to say much. He said he looked her straight in the face and asked if the cheating rumors about Michael were true, and her reaction? She didn't laugh it off, didn't deny it, didn't brush it aside. She froze and looked genuinely shocked, almost like she was caught off guard that he even knew about it. Now, you already know Jason's reputation. He's known for being messy, but at the same time, he's the type to say exactly what he believes happened. So when he told that story, people didn't just ignore it, they leaned in. In their minds, Lori's silence said everything. Because let's be real, if something isn't true, the easiest response is a quick no, right? But her not giving any clear answer. That left a huge gap, and people filled it with their own conclusions real fast. And it didn't help that her family had already been moving a little different online. Folks kept going back to those posts from Marjorie and Steve, pointing out how unusual it was for them to throw any kind of shade at Lori's exes. That's not their usual style, so for them to step in like that this time, it made people feel like there had to be something deeper going on behind the scenes. It turned into a big question online. Why, Michael? What made this situation so different from the rest? Then social media did what it always does, took everything and turned it up times 10. People started pulling clips, sharing opinions, and building their own narratives. One person mentioned seeing Jason Lee on The Breakfast Club saying Michael B. Jordan was serially cheating on Marjorie Harvey, and suddenly that quote was everywhere. Others added more to it, like plus the ladies on Fox Soul said he was still in love with his ex. While someone else claimed, so Michael B. Jordan cheated on Marjorie Harvey with his ex that he is now back with, allegedly. At that point, it wasn't just gossip anymore. It turned into a full-blown online storm, with everyone trying to connect the dots, break down reactions, and figure out what really happened behind closed doors. So what's really going on here? Are we looking at a simple breakup, or is this one of those situations where the truth is buried under layers of silence, timing, and mixed signals? When you really think about it, do those subtle reactions and choices reveal more than what was ever said out loud? And once you start connecting everything, does it feel like coincidence or like something that was always going to come to light eventually? Go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comments. I really want to know what you think about this whole story. Thanks for watching. I truly appreciate you being here. Make sure to like, share, and if you're new, don't forget to subscribe to Star Watch for more updates like this. And before you go, check out another video on the channel. There's always more to uncover. Until next time, take care.
Hey, tell Steve Harvey I don't want to.
Stuff to yourself and keeping it private and learning, when to talk and when not to.
Two dudes right here matter to me in a way where, like he say, like if we going through something, we'll call each other because we feel for each other because we know the real person.
Right. Yeah.
I know they lying about you on.
Ready, because when a woman finds a good one, then that's what you're looking for. But I will say that she's young still, you know what I mean? And I too was looking forward to them making it because I thought, oh, you know what? She's been looking for someone to keep on her arm to be able to have a relationship with that is meaningful and is successful.
Let's break this down because it's already looking real messy. Future is still clearly bothered about Lori dropping him like it was nothing on New Year's, and he's not even trying to hide it. You can tell it's still sitting with him heavy. This is the same situation where he was laughing at her when things ended with Michael B. Jordan, acting like it was some kind of joke, right before Michael went on to win an Oscar and seriously level up his whole career. That timing alone makes everything look different now. Now here's where it really gets interesting. Word going around is that Lori actually regrets leaving Michael and she's been trying to circle back and reconnect with him. And this started before he even locked in that Oscar win.
Talk, like even, the other day I just been saying I really wanted to go to a farmer's market. And so he called me one morning, Sunday morning. He was like, what are you doing? Get dressed, I'm about to come pick you up. And he took me an hour away.
Remember that you are the prize.
Yeah.
I'm the prize. What does that mean?
It just means not compromising my values, my happiness, my peace, not settling for less than what I know I deserve.
So this wasn't about clout chasing after the fact, at least from what people are saying. But Michael is not going for it at all, not even a little. Reports say he's completely done with that chapter. No second chances, no revisiting the past. Meanwhile, Lori is left sitting with how everything played out, and it's not looking like she can change that. But Future stepping back into this situation is what really has people raising eyebrows, because wasn't he just calling Michael a lame not too long ago? Now suddenly he's back in the mix, and the switch-up is loud enough that people can't ignore it. It's got everyone questioning his angle and why he even cares this much at this point. At the same time, a lot of people aren't even surprised by how Future is moving. If you remember how their breakup happened, it was already chaotic from the start. Lori tried to keep things low-key and respectful, not turning it into a whole spectacle. But Future made sure it got public anyway, and now it's looking like he still hasn't let that situation go, even after all this time. People started posting things like, Marjorie Harvey now knows she fumbled Michael B. Jordan,
After he won the Oscars, he was the prize. Another person said, I guess Lori Harvey no longer serves Michael Jordan. Ain't it ironic how quickly the wind can change within 5 years? Others added, Michael wins the highest honor in the Academy Awards and Lori is just average. Then more voices came in saying, Michael B. Jordan is the prize. She just didn't value his worth. The commentary was everywhere and it kept spreading across social media with people picking sides and adding their own takes.
Real careful because Lori, boy, she be in my... I can't make no mistakes. I can't make stuff. I saw one of her exes somewhere at a game somewhere and I shook his hand, boy, I can't even touch his no more. I better not acknowledge him or look at him or nothing no more. So I'm off limits. If you are ex, your is my ex too. That's the rule. The rule in our house is any boy that's an ex, he's now my ex too.
The conversation didn't slow down at all. If anything, it kept getting louder, with more people jumping in and repeating the same narrative from different angles. It turned into one of those moments where every post, every comment, and every reaction kept the story alive and moving. Then, right when all that noise was building up, things reportedly got even messier behind the scenes. According to circulating reports, someone from Lori's side allegedly started feeding information to blogs. The timing made everything look even more complicated, especially with what people were already saying online. And it doesn't stop there. Word going around is that Lori has been trying to reach Michael ever since that Oscar win, but some are saying it actually started way before that moment. Either way, from what's being said, Michael has not been interested at all, staying completely closed off and not entertaining any attempts to reconnect. He completely cut her off. No replies, no callbacks, nothing at all. Not even a single response to her trying to reach him. And that alone says a lot about where he stands. What makes this even more interesting is how different things look when they first broke up. Back then, Lori seemed like she had the upper hand. She and her mom, Marjorie, was shaping the narrative and dropping subtle shots that people picked up on quickly. There were rumors being pushed about Michael only dating white women, and since he stayed quiet and never responded, that story kept floating around for a long time. Marjorie didn't even try to keep things quiet either. She posted a clip of Jennifer Lewis saying, if you sit in it for too long, it stops smelling, so come out of there. People immediately saw that as shade, and it didn't take long for Lori to follow up in her own way. Lori posted a picture of a license plate on her IG story that said, dump him. That alone had people talking, but she didn't stop there. In an interview, she doubled down and spoke about how Michael didn't meet her standards for the kind of man she wants to settle down with. What made it stand out even more is that when they were actually together, she was saying the complete opposite about him, which made the switch feel sudden to a lot of people watching from the outside. Now here's the part that really has people questioning everything. Lori had all this to say about Michael, but didn't seem to have an issue being with Future. That comparison is exactly why this situation keeps coming up. Future has a complicated dating history and very public views on relationships, and yet somehow Michael was the one who didn't meet the standard. That contrast is what keeps people talking. That's also why a lot of people aren't surprised seeing Future comment on everything now. From the outside looking in, Michael came across as one of Lori's most stable and serious relationships, and many feel like she let that go. Then she moved on to something that didn't seem to bring the same kind of energy, and now the whole situation is being looked at very differently. Then came Damson Idris, and no disrespect to him at all, but people online were quick to start comparing, and you already know how that played out. The comparisons didn't slow down either. They kept popping up everywhere, and not everyone was being kind about it. Social media turned it into a constant debate with people picking apart every detail and stacking it up against Michael. What makes things even more interesting is that through all the shade being thrown, Steve Harvey never disrespected Michael, not even once. He didn't switch up, didn't speak negatively, and stayed consistent the whole time. There was even a moment where Steve and Michael ran into each other at a basketball game, and it was all respect between them. No tension, no awkward energy, just a normal interaction. But somehow, even that turned into drama later on. Steve revealed that Lori wasn't happy about that interaction and told him not to speak to Michael again. That detail alone had people looking at the situation sideways because it added another layer to everything that was already being discussed.
Now, with all of this happening, Future stepping in and clowning Lori comes off messy, but not shocking at this point. It just adds more noise to what people have already been saying online. When you really look at how everything played out, a lot of people feel like Lori didn't come out on top the way it once seemed. Back then, the narrative was completely different. People were saying Michael lost her, especially when she stepped out with Damson. But now, the energy has shifted in a major way. Michael is out here with an Oscar, leveling up in his career on a whole different scale, while the conversations around Lori's decisions keep getting louder. Whether people agree or not, a lot of voices online are saying the same thing. They believe she walked away from something solid and ended up in a situation that didn't hit the same. Now, that's why this situation keeps getting brought up again and again, with reactions coming from every direction and the discussion never really fading. One person said, Michael B. Jordan ignoring Lori's congrats like he ignored the red flags in 2022. Level up so hard, the past can't even get a text back. That comment alone had people going back and forth, debating what it really meant and whether it was a fair take or just social media reaching for drama. It didn't take long before the replies started stacking up, with different opinions coming from every direction. Then someone else came in with a completely different angle, saying men get the biggest ego the second they start winning. Imagine straight up ignoring calls from the one person who held you down when you had literally nothing. That take picked up attention fast, and people were split like usual. Some agreed and felt like success can change how people move, while others were not buying that argument at all. The conversation kept growing, turning into something bigger than just them. It became about growth, timing, and whether someone should still have access to you after things end. A lot of people started looking at it from a personal perspective, not just celebrity drama, which made the debate even more intense. That same comment about Michael B. Jordan ignoring Lori's congrats like he ignored the red flags in 2022, level up so hard the past can't even get a text back, kept circulating, with some people saying it made perfect sense and others calling it a stretch. For some, it was about boundaries and moving forward. For others, it felt like rewriting the past to fit the current moment. And when that second opinion about ego came back into the conversation, it sparked another wave. Some users doubled down, saying success can shift priorities and distance people from their past, but others pushed back hard, questioning whether that support was ever as strong as it was being claimed in the first place. In the middle of all this, one thing became clear. People were not just reacting to the situation, they were projecting their own experiences onto it. That's why the reactions were so mixed and strong. At the end of the day, a lot of users pointed out that relationships are layered, and what people see online is only a small piece of the full story. From there, the conversation turned into people clearly picking sides. Some were saying Michael has every right to move how he wants and doesn't owe anyone access, especially if he felt disrespected or already moved on mentally. Others stepped in to defend Lori, arguing that everyone makes choices in relationships and shouldn't be judged forever for how things played out. The back and forth kept building, with opinions clashing in almost every comment section and no real agreement in sight. At the same time, some people zoomed out and looked at the bigger picture instead of choosing sides. They pointed out how fast public opinion can switch depending on who seems to be winning in the moment. One minute, someone is getting praised, the next, they're being criticized, all because of new developments. The conversation started to feel less about Lori and Michael as individuals and more about how relationships unfold in the public eye. When you really step back, the whole situation feels less about one specific moment and more about how quickly the narrative can flip. Not too long ago, people were praising Lori for moving on and doing what she felt was best for her. Now the tone has shifted, and suddenly she's the one who lost out. That kind of switch says a lot about how public opinion works, especially when success and status get added into the mix.
At the same time, Michael staying quiet through all of this has only made people talk more. He hasn't confirmed anything, denied anything, or even acknowledged the noise. That silence has been read in different ways depending on who you ask, and it keeps the conversation going because people are left to interpret it on their own. Some people see his silence as him protecting his peace and staying locked in on his own path, while others read it as a clear sign that he has fully moved on and closed that chapter for good. Either way, the lack of response keeps the NAS guessing and adds even more curiosity to the situation. Then you still have Future finding his way back into the conversation, which adds another layer to everything. His past comments, the lyrics he put out, and how things ended between him and Lori are all being brought back up and looked at again. For some, that makes his current reaction seem unnecessary, like he is inserting himself into something that no longer involves him.
But for others, they see it as him saying what many people are already thinking, just in a more direct way. No matter how people view it, his name keeps getting tied to a situation that technically has nothing to do with him anymore. And right in the middle of all this attention, Lori is the one being talked about the most. Every move she made in the past is getting pulled back up, re-examined and judged from a completely different perspective. Some people are questioning her decisions, while others are defending her right to live her life without being constantly compared to someone else's success. It really shows how complicated things can get when personal relationships play out in front of everyone, where every detail gets picked apart and turned into a bigger conversation. In the end, this whole situation shows just how fast things can change. The same story can look completely different a few years later, depending on where everyone stands now. What once felt like a clear decision suddenly looks a lot more complicated, and what seemed like a closed chapter is now being reopened just from public opinion shifting. As long as people keep talking, analyzing, and picking sides, this situation is not fading anytime soon. The conversation keeps evolving, and every new detail just adds more layers to it. If you've been following everything, stay locked in and keep up with all the updates. And do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to Star Watch for more breakdowns like this.
Marjorie and I was together. She used to hate. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna tell it all. I'm telling all y'all. She said, and it was fact. She used to check dudes with big lips. Yeah.
So.
But I do want people to know and understand that it's not about.
For years, people have wondered what Marjorie Harvey's life was really like before she became one of the most recognized names connected to Steve Harvey.
Throwing Marjorie under the bus. But I have came to a point in my life where she got to be accountable for what she's doing. Because for 6 years, leave me alone. All I want to do is bond with my kids and my grandkids. You see what I'm saying?
She's making that
That's
hard.
why.
Now, that curiosity is getting fresh attention because her former husband, Jim Townsend, has been sharing stories about their past and offering his version of events from decades ago.
The whole deal with Marjorie was, that's what I'm saying, Marjorie was a player.
When you say player?
Well, when I say that, because listen, she was on the pill, and I told you I had 3 kids already out of wedlock.
Okay.
So I had this conversation with her. I said, listen, I don't want no more kids. And she said, well, because, I really loved kids, but I understood sort of, I can't be there with him, be a father, because see, my father went in the household. So I didn't want to be like him from that perspective,
His claims have sparked a new wave of questions, with many people wondering whether there is more to Marjorie's journey than the public has ever known. According to Townsend, Marjorie was someone who always knew how to navigate complicated situations and stay several steps ahead of the people around her. He described her as ambitious, sharp, and focused on getting what she wanted, no matter what obstacles stood in the way. In his telling, she was difficult to read because she rarely showed all of her cards, which made it challenging for people to know exactly where they stood with her. Those claims have only added more mystery to a story that was already surrounded by rumors and speculation. But what really happened between Marjorie and Townsend behind closed doors, and why is he choosing to speak out now after all these years? That question is at the center of the latest controversy. Some people believe he is finally telling his side of the story, while others think there may be other reasons for bringing these old details back into the spotlight. The conversation surrounding Marjorie continues to grow because her personal history has often attracted attention.
But I didn't have the know-how to, hey, well, don't do this, get one woman and, stay with that. So, but I had this talk with Marjorie. I said, Marjorie, listen, I got 3 babies out of wedlock. I don't want another kid out of wedlock. I'm taking care of them. I was taking care of my kids. But she was saying, oh, no, I'm on the birth control pill. I'm on the pill, blah, blah, blah. So that's cool. But she ended up getting pregnant. And I know she did it on purpose.
Over the years, stories about her relationships, her connections, and the path that eventually led her to Steve Harvey have kept people talking. Critics point to the twists and turns in her past, while supporters argue that much of the public discussion is built on rumors rather than proven facts. Either way, her story remains one of the most talked about topics whenever questions about Steve Harvey's personal life resurface. Long before the headlines connected her name to Steve Harvey, Marjorie was already a figure surrounded by stories, rumors, and larger-than-life claims. According to her former husband, Jim Townsend, the traits people talk about today were visible decades ago. In his version of events, she was someone who understood how to work a room, read people quickly, and position herself for opportunities when they appeared.
I didn't indict her because, I made a deal with him not to indict. You got to be mindful. At this particular time that I got busted, if you want to call it get busted.
Okay.
They showed me, drug transactions between Marjorie and people that I knew they weren't lying. The people that, she had sold drugs to and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, she 8 months pregnant. We got a 5-year-old daughter. So there was no way, whatever I could do to keep her from going to prison or being indicted. And see, I know how those feds play it. And that was the right move because they would have railroaded.
They would have railroaded her just.
Oh, she would have. Oh, yeah, because they had people gonna step up, and
and testify against.
Yeah.
her.
So I mean, I'm reading it, so I'm saying I know they ain't lying because they got the people's name, mark, and all that. That I know she had turned those deals.
Townsend's story gained attention after his release from prison in 2017, when he received clemency from former President Barack Obama. After spending more than 2 decades behind bars, he began speaking publicly about his past experiences and the people who played important roles during that chapter of his life. Among the names that came up most often was Marjorie Harvey, whom he described as a significant presence during some of the biggest moments of his rise and eventual legal troubles. According to Townsend, when they first became involved, Marjorie was not aware that he was married. He claims that information was kept from her early in the relationship and only came to light later. Even after learning the truth, the relationship reportedly continued. Townsend also said he made it clear that he did not want any more children, believing his family was already complete. But if his account is accurate, the situation became far more complicated than he expected. The two continued spending time together and were frequently seen around town as a couple. As their connection grew stronger, Townsend claims it became clear that Marjorie was determined, calculated, and fully capable of making decisions that served her own interests, setting the stage for even more dramatic developments down the road. As more stories from that period continue to resurface, one of the most debated parts of Jim Townsend's account involves how deeply Marjorie was connected to the world around him at the time. It's important to note that many of these details come from Townsend's own version of events and have been widely discussed over the years without all claims being independently verified. According to Townsend, Marjorie was aware of the lifestyle he was involved in and remained part of his circle during their relationship. He claimed that she became a familiar face in Memphis and developed a reputation that drew plenty of attention. Over time, stories about her involvement began spreading, and Townsend alleged that some people even gave her the nickname Lady Heroin. Those claims have remained a controversial part of the narrative surrounding their past. Townsend also claimed that Marjorie's growing reputation created challenges in other areas of her life. In his telling, she eventually left the University of Memphis as the attention surrounding her became difficult to ignore. However, accounts of that period vary, and many details remain the subject of speculation. Another major point in Townsend's story involves their family life. He said that early in the relationship, they discussed not having children together. Later, however, he claimed those plans changed unexpectedly. According to Townsend, he eventually learned that Marjorie was expecting a child.
I be trying to tell people, me and Marjorie was tight as friends. The whole time I went to prison, I could call her if I needed anything, she'd do it. She was bringing those kids to see me up until, even with Donnell, Laura's dad, was cool. We cool. Until 3 days before she got married.
And then she just...
The day after, 2 days after, I called her like I told her I was gonna call her and, congratulated, did well, John, blah, blah. I never heard her voice again to this day.
Their daughter Morgan was later born, and their family continued to grow with the arrival of their son, Jason, marking a significant new chapter in their lives. The turning point in Jim Townsend's story came when he realized law enforcement was closing in and that the situation had become far more serious than before. According to his account, investigators had gathered substantial evidence related to criminal activities, and he believed the case against him was strong. He also claimed that authorities were looking closely at people connected to him, including family members and others in his circle. Faced with the possibility of an even larger legal battle, Townsend says he chose to accept a plea agreement. In his version of events, that decision was made with the hope of limiting the impact on those closest to him while he prepared to face a lengthy prison sentence. Ultimately, he received a life sentence, bringing a dramatic chapter of his life to an abrupt halt. As the years passed, life outside prison continued moving forward. Less than 5 years after Townsend was incarcerated, Marjorie filed for divorce and began a new chapter. Before long, she entered another high-profile relationship and eventually married Darnell Woods. The couple later welcomed a daughter, Lori, further expanding the family. Still, Townsend's supporters often point out that this new relationship attracted attention because of allegations and rumors surrounding Woods' own lifestyle and associations. Critics of Marjorie have argued that she repeatedly found herself connected to controversial figures, while supporters maintain that many public claims about her past rely heavily on speculation and secondhand accounts. One of the most surprising details from Townsend's story is his claim that, despite the divorce and the years that followed, he and Marjorie remained aware of what was happening in each other's lives. According to him, there was never a complete disconnect between them. Even as both moved in different directions, he suggests they continued keeping track of major developments, creating yet another layer in a story that remains the subject of intense public curiosity. Even after their relationship ended, Jim Townsend has claimed that communication between him and Marjorie never completely disappeared. According to his account, whenever he reached out from prison, she was often willing to answer and help maintain contact between him and their children. He has pointed to those interactions as evidence that, despite everything that happened between them, there was still an ongoing connection tied to their family. Meanwhile, Marjorie's life continued to evolve outside the prison walls. Not long after her marriage to Darnell Woods, legal problems reportedly began surrounding members of his family. Authorities eventually investigated alleged criminal activity connected to that circle, leading to charges and a prison sentence for Woods. The case attracted attention because it added another controversial chapter to an already heavily scrutinized period of Marjorie's life. As the situation unfolded, Marjorie and Darnell ultimately went their separate ways. Critics have often highlighted the timing of her departures from major relationships, while supporters argue that ending a marriage during difficult circumstances does not automatically reveal someone's motives. Regardless of where people stand, the pattern has remained a frequent topic of discussion whenever her past is examined. By the early 2000s, another major figure was dominating the entertainment world, Steve Harvey. His career had reached a new level thanks to the massive success of projects like the original Kings of Comedy. The comedian who had once struggled financially was now becoming one of the most recognizable personalities in television and comedy. His growing fame, business ventures, and public profile made him one of the most successful entertainers of the era. According to stories that have circulated for years, Marjorie and Steve had crossed paths before his rise to superstardom. However, reconnecting was not so simple at that point. Steve was still married to his second wife, Mary Lee, and his personal life was already drawing significant public attention. That reality created another complicated layer in a story that would eventually become one of the most talked about relationships in celebrity circles. As stories about Marjorie's past relationships continued circulating, another claim began attracting attention. According to long-running rumors and accounts shared by various people over the years, Marjorie was briefly linked to one of Steve Harvey's bodyguards, often referred to as Big Boom. The details surrounding that relationship have been debated, but the story has remained part of the broader conversation about how Marjorie eventually re-entered Steve's life. Those who discuss this chapter often claim that the connection placed her within Steve's orbit at a time when his career was rapidly growing. However, accounts differ on exactly how events unfolded, and many of the details have never been fully confirmed by the people involved. What is more widely known is that Marjorie and Steve had reportedly met years earlier, long before they became a couple. At the time, Steve was still working to establish himself in the entertainment industry and had not yet reached the level of success that would later make him a household name. According to a story that has been repeated in interviews and media reports, Steve showed interest in Marjorie during those early years. The relationship did not move forward then, and they went their separate ways. As Steve's career continued to rise, however, their paths would eventually cross again under very different circumstances, setting the stage for a relationship that would later capture widespread public attention. By the time Marjorie and Steve Harvey reconnected, many people close to the story believed the outcome was almost inevitable. According to accounts that have circulated for years, Steve had never completely forgotten about her after their earlier meeting. Now, unlike the first time their paths crossed, he had achieved major success and was one of the biggest names in entertainment. From the outside looking in, it appeared that both of them were entering the relationship at a very different stage of life than before. The timeline of their relationship has been the subject of public discussion for years, particularly because Steve was still navigating the end of a previous marriage when he and Marjorie became a couple. Critics have questioned how events unfolded, while supporters argue that much of the speculation is based on assumptions rather than confirmed facts. Regardless, once Steve's marriage ended, he and Marjorie publicly embraced their relationship and eventually married. As their life together became more visible, Steve's celebrity status brought increased attention to every aspect of their personal history. According to Jim Townsend, Steve was fully aware of Marjorie's past and worked to help her move beyond the controversies and rumors that had followed her for years. Townsend has also claimed that Steve assisted with resolving certain financial issues connected to earlier periods of her life, though details surrounding those claims remain disputed. Townsend further alleges that after Marjorie married Steve, communication between him and his children became much more limited. He has said that maintaining contact became increasingly difficult and that major changes occurred within the family dynamic. Public records show that Steve eventually became the legal adoptive father of Marjorie's children, a move that further solidified the family's public identity. Since his release from prison, Townsend has continued speaking openly about Marjorie and their shared past. He has repeatedly argued that she distanced herself from him once his legal troubles intensified, while others view his comments as only one side of a much larger and more complicated story. Decades later, the disagreements, accusations, and competing narratives surrounding their relationship continue to generate discussion whenever Marjorie Harvey's past becomes a topic of conversation. Jim Townsend has never been shy about sharing his feelings regarding the collapse of their relationship and the impact he believes it had on the family. At one point, he stated, "What she needs to be called out for is what she's done to this family. She has totally destroyed our family structure." Totally. Those comments have continued to spark debate among people who follow the story, especially as more details and claims from their past have resurfaced over the years. As these stories spread online, public opinion has become increasingly divided. Some people look at Marjorie's journey and see someone who consistently found ways to move forward and reinvent herself. Others view the allegations and controversies surrounding her past as evidence of a much more complicated story. Social media users have shared a wide range of reactions, with some saying, "Sounds like the real kingpin is Marjorie. That woman got game for real, and when you have game like that, you play it well." Others have commented, "Work is for the birds. Marjorie knows that. She knows how to play the game." I'm waiting for her book to come out. Another popular opinion making the rounds is, Marjorie used her looks to get herself financial gains. She's fortunate she didn't get any jail time. You can't knock the hustle. Of course, these are opinions from members of the public, and the full truth behind many of these claims remains heavily debated. That's what keeps this story generating headlines years later. Now it's your turn. What do you think about everything that's been said regarding Marjorie's past? Do you think the public has the full picture, or is there still more to the story that hasn't been told? And if Marjorie ever released a tell-all book about her life, would you pick up a copy and read it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Star Watch so you don't miss any of the latest celebrity news, drama, and trending stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Right after that, I went through my very first public breakup. Now, most people after a breakup are like, "I'm gonna get in better shape." But I was already in Creed shape. So I had to be like, all right, I guess I'll learn a new language. Anyway, estoy en raya. After the breakup, everyone thought I was so heartbroken because when the news came out, I was at a basketball game and they caught me looking like this. Performing a song off of one of the most relatable albums of all time, Her Loss.
I will say this, I heard about his ex and him was so serious that he may have missed.
Michael B. Jordan has stepped back into the spotlight in a major way after his split from Lori, and the timing is making the whole situation feel a lot more intense. There has been talk circulating that right before they went their separate ways, she allegedly told him directly that he would never win an Oscar.
Ooh, man, y'all. I stand here because of the people that came before me. Sidney Poitier, Denzel Washington, Halle Berry, Jamie Foxx, Forrest Whitaker, Will Smith. And to be amongst those giants, amongst those greats, amongst my ancestors, amongst my guys. Thank you, everybody in this room and everybody at home for supporting me over my career. I feel it.
That claim has been spreading again now, and people are connecting it to what just happened in his career. He has now reached that level of recognition, and the attention is shifting toward how she might be reacting. Online conversations suggest there could be some pressure on her side as everything unfolds publicly, especially since the narrative has flipped so quickly. At the same time, the comparison to Damson is adding another layer to the story. Some people believe she thought he would rise faster and reach major awards recognition first, while Michael was not seen as being on that same path at the time. The situation feels more awkward now because a lot of the general audience was not even placing Damson in that kind of awards conversation to begin with. Lori has often been associated with people who carry strong momentum and public attention, and it seemed like she was making a calculated choice based on who would level up first in the industry. Now that things are played out differently, that decision is being looked at more critically.
Said that she wasn't ready because when a woman finds a good one, then that's what you're looking for. But I will say that she's young still, you know what I mean? And I too was looking forward to them making it because I thought, oh, you know what? She's been looking for someone to keep on her arm to be able to have a relationship with that is meaningful and then successful, because we know that the girl's gonna keep her somebody that is gonna be newsworthy.
And the contrast between past expectations and current reality is difficult to ignore. Now, in 2026, the entire narrative is shifted, and the conversation online is moving in a completely different direction. There were strong opinions circulating that Lori may regret choosing Damson over Michael, especially after everything that has unfolded. For those just catching up, she's been dealing with a wave of criticism across social media following the Oscars. The reaction has been intense and very public, with people continuing to revisit past decisions and connect them to what just happened. Many are saying this outcome was not surprising, especially with Michael earning a Best Actor nomination for Sinners. There had already been growing buzz that this could be his moment, and that anticipation only made the situation feel more charged. There have also been claims from sources close to Lori suggesting that she, Damson, and even members of her family chose not to attend the Oscars. According to these reports, they were aware there was a strong possibility Michael could win and wanted to avoid being part of that moment. Being present in a setting like that could have brought a lot of attention their way, especially with cameras constantly capturing reactions. Award shows often turn into highly visible events where every expression gets analyzed, so staying away may have felt like the safer option. Meanwhile, Michael appeared calm and focused throughout the night. He attended with his mother, Donna Jordan, kept his composure, and accepted the award without showing any concern for the outside conversation surrounding him. Right after everything unfolded, social media reacted almost instantly. People were congratulating Michael and giving him credit for the win, but at the same time, many did not hold back when discussing Lori and her decision to move on from him and start a relationship with Damson. The tone of the comments shifted quickly, and the opinions became very direct. A number of users described Damson as a step down, arguing that he is not on the same level as Michael and questioning whether he will ever reach that kind of recognition. Others took a different angle and suggested that once Lori was no longer part of Michael's life, things began to align in a noticeable way.
There were also repeated claims that since the breakup, Michael has been making bigger career moves, taking on more ambitious roles, expanding into directing, and now achieving one of the highest honors in the industry. Many people kept pointing out how his trajectory seemed to accelerate after that point, building a narrative that personal changes can sometimes lead to professional growth. One widely shared comment read, "Michael B. Jordan and Marjorie Harvey broke up. That man has been on a different run. Blockbuster directing, and now an Oscar. Sometimes the glow-up really does start with a breakup. Ain't gonna hold you. If I'm Michael B. Jordan, I'm popping my ish." As comparisons between Michael and Damson continued, the conversation often returned to the same observation, with users repeating variations of, "That other man ain't got no Oscar." Now, even though some of these opinions can come across as petty, there is a reason people keep bringing this angle back into the conversation. When the breakup first happened, there were claims circulating online that Lori, her team, and people around her were quietly shaping a negative narrative about Michael.
According to those discussions, he was being portrayed as unfaithful, and his dating life was being questioned in ways that quickly caught public attention. That narrative spread fast at the time, and now that Michael is experiencing major success in such a visible way, people are revisiting those earlier claims and reassessing the situation from a different perspective. It is important to note that none of those claims were ever confirmed, but they still gained traction because Michael chose not to respond publicly or defend himself. Instead of addressing every rumor, he remained silent and stayed focused on his work behind the scenes. While all of that speculation was circulating, he was fully committed to preparing for a role that would eventually earn him an Oscar. Looking at it now, that decision to avoid public back and forth and concentrate on his craft is being seen in a new light. Rather than getting pulled into ongoing drama, he kept a low profile and allowed his results to speak for themselves over time, which is why the contrast feels so noticeable today. After the breakup, a wave of rumors started circulating, with many claiming the relationship ended because Michael had been unfaithful. One of the main stories being shared suggested that he was involved with his ex-girlfriend, Ashlyn Castro, while still dating Lori. That narrative picked up even more attention when Lisa Ray spoke about it publicly. She's known to have a close connection to Lori's mother, Marjorie, and because of that, a lot of people viewed her comments as credible and assumed there might be some truth behind what she was saying. Lisa Ray openly pushed back on the idea that the breakup had anything to do with Lori not being ready for marriage. She dismissed that explanation and instead presented a much more serious version of events. According to her account, Lori was actually open to marrying Michael, but shortly before a planned proposal, she allegedly discovered he had reconnected with his ex. In her telling, that discovery changed everything, and Lori was not willing to accept that situation. Lisa Ray spoke very confidently during interviews, framing her statements as if she was sharing what really happened behind the scenes, which caused the story to spread even faster online. At the same time, Lori herself never directly addressed these claims in public. She chose to remain silent, even as the speculation continued to grow across blogs and social media platforms. Because there was no clear confirmation or denial, the conversation kept evolving, with more people adding their own interpretations. Some observers believe that not responding allowed the narrative to gain more traction, which may have affected how Michael was perceived during that period. Others argue that silence can sometimes be strategic, but in situations like this, it can also leave room for unverified claims to take on a life of their own, especially when public attention is already high. The timing of everything made the situation feel even more complicated. Around the same period when all these rumors were spreading, Steve Harvey and Marjorie began posting messages online that many people quickly interpreted as subtle digs at Michael. At one point, Steve shared a post saying, "Love yourself, my G," which immediately caught attention and had people questioning who it was directed toward. Not long after, he followed up with another message that read, "Sometimes we need to thank God for what didn't happen," and that only intensified the speculation, with many trying to read deeper meaning into his words. The conversation did not end there. Just a few days later, Steve appeared in an interview with Hoda and Jenna, and his comments added another layer to the ongoing discussion. While talking about Lori's relationship experiences, he described them as part of a learning process, explaining that she's growing up in the public eye without the privacy most people have. He pointed out that her personal life often becomes public discussion, which can make situations more challenging to navigate. He also mentioned that she's been learning from those experiences and continuing to grow over time. Even though he never mentioned Michael by name, the timing of both the posts and the interview led many viewers to assume there was a connection. Online reactions quickly tied everything together, with people analyzing his statements and linking them back to the breakup. As a result, what may have been general advice or reflections ended up being interpreted as part of the larger narrative surrounding the situation. Now that Michael has reached this level and secured an Oscar, many people are revisiting those past comments with a different perspective. What once seemed like subtle commentary is now being re-examined in light of how everything turned out. Some are even questioning whether Steve would still stand by those statements today, given how much has changed. The online conversation has shifted toward whether the earlier criticism still holds weight, or if opinions may have evolved behind the scenes as Michael's success became more undeniable. Marjorie also became part of the discussion in her own way, and her post drew just as much attention. She shared a clip of Jennifer Lewis saying, "If you sit in shit for too long, it stops smelling, so come out of there." That message quickly spread across social media, with many interpreting it as another indirect reference tied to the situation. Some viewers felt it was a strong comparison, especially considering how public everything already was at the time. It added another layer to an already intense narrative, giving people even more to analyze and debate. Lori also appeared to reflect a similar tone during that period. She posted an image of a license plate that read, "Dump him," and that moment quickly gained traction online. Many took it as a clear indication of her mindset during the breakup, reinforcing the overall narrative that was forming at the time. When all of these moments are looked at together, they create a very specific picture of how things were perceived back then, which is why so many people are now revisiting the situation with a completely different lens. Things became even more intense when Jason Lee shared his own experience. He said that he crossed paths with Lori at the Essence event after the breakup, and according to his account, that moment added more attention to the rumors already circulating. He explained that he asked her directly whether the claims about Michael being unfaithful were true. Instead of giving a clear answer or shutting the idea down, he described her reaction as a pause, saying she looked surprised by the question. That response quickly became a talking point online, with many people interpreting it in their own way, and a bunch treating it like confirmation, even though nothing was clearly stated. By that stage, a lot of observers felt that the overall narrative was leaning toward placing blame on Michael for the breakup. That perception stayed in place for a while, which is why the current moment feels like such a noticeable shift. Now that Michael is achieving major success publicly, some people are framing it as him proving a point without directly responding to any of the past claims. The reactions online have been strong, with users continuing to debate the situation and revisit earlier assumptions about what really happened. There is also growing speculation about what could happen next. Some comments are predicting another change in Lori's relationship, with one person writing, "Marjorie Harvey about to leave Damson Idris now that Michael B. Jordan is an Oscar winner," and another said, "Marjorie Harvey is getting rid of Damson to get back together with Michael B. Jordan." These kinds of statements continue to spread across social media, even though they are purely speculative. As the conversation keeps evolving, more people are watching closely to see how everything develops following this major moment in Michael's career. Now it turns into a much bigger question that people cannot stop debating. What do you think about Michael seemingly coming out on top after everything that was said and assumed about him? Do you see this as a natural career moment that would have happened anyway? Or does it feel like a response to all the past narratives that surrounded his name? And when it comes to Lori, do you think there is any chance she would try to reconnect with him after choosing a completely different direction before all of this played out? Or do you believe that chapter is fully closed for good? There are a lot of different opinions forming around this, and the conversation keeps growing as more people weigh in and revisit everything from a new perspective. Some believe success changes how people reflect on the past, while others think certain decisions cannot be undone once they are made public. Go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comments and be part of the discussion. Make sure you like this video, share it with others who have been following this story, and subscribe to Star Watch so you do not miss any updates, breakdowns, or the latest developments as this situation continues to unfold.
Let me tell you something. Steve knew I was having an affair with Marjorie, okay?
Steve, you saying Steve Harvey knew?
Yes, he knew. He wanted me to have an affair with Marjorie.
What?
So how did this latest controversy get so much attention?
What y'all doing? Find something else to do. Be fine.
And why are some people claiming that Steve Harvey was aware of the rumors surrounding Marjorie and wasn't bothered by them? For a long time, many people felt there were unanswered questions when it came to the Harvey family story, but this latest twist caught a lot of people off guard.
One thing about, one thing, I've always loved black people. I've always loved my people. Y'all belong to me and I belong to y'all. Before I get started, just let me say, I'm fine. Marjorie's fine.
Before assuming anything is true, it's worth remembering that rumors involving high-profile families spread online all the time, and not every claim holds up under scrutiny. Still, the relationship speculation has resurfaced once again, and plenty of people have been talking about it. Some time ago, online reports began circulating with allegations that Marjorie had been involved in a situation behind Steve's back. though the details varied depending on who was telling the story. Different reports pointed to different individuals, while some claims went even further, suggesting a divorce filing and a huge financial settlement were part of the situation. As the rumors gained traction, several sources and individuals reportedly close to the family pushed back and described the allegations as completely false. Marjorie also addressed the speculation with a social media post about dealing with false stories, before later removing it and clarifying that the claims were untrue. At the time, she stated, "My husband and I don't usually stop to address all the foolishness and lies that have been spread about us." That statement only seemed to make the online conversation grow even bigger. Marjorie continued by saying, "However, to whom much is given, much is required."
Came late, came down front with my girlfriend. Our seats were right here at the front, right by the stage. So we were sitting here, the stage was here. So he's just quiet. He just keeps staring at me. So I'm waiting on him to make me a part of the show so we can get on with the show. So he stayed quiet so long staring at me. Now everybody in the club is looking at me. And so he finally realized, okay, I gotta say something. He was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know who this is, but I'm gonna make."
I understand that with my platform comes some sort of responsibility to those that may not be as strong as we are. Her comments quickly spread across social media, drawing major attention and triggering another wave of debate among viewers and fans. As the rumors dominated headlines and online discussions, Steve Harvey decided to respond publicly. During a major event in Atlanta, he addressed the ongoing speculation in front of a large crowd. Steve made it clear that he and Marjorie were doing well and suggested that people spending time on the rumors should direct their energy toward other things instead. Now, though, the speculation is gaining attention again. Some people have started revisiting past comments from William Freeman, better known as Big Boom, who says he was the person responsible for introducing Marjorie to Steve Harvey. According to Freeman, the story behind their first meeting is far more surprising than many people realize, and he claims it all started in a very unexpected place. According to Freeman, he and Marjorie were involved in operating a poker house years ago, and he claims Steve Harvey would often stop by to play cards. Freeman says that was actually where Steve and Marjorie first met. If his account is accurate, it raises questions for some people about whether the more commonly shared version of their first meeting tells the full story. Freeman went on to make additional claims. He alleged that people connected to Steve's circle encouraged him not to speak publicly about the story, and even claimed he was offered money to remain silent. These allegations have not been verified, and there is no public evidence proving those claims. He didn't stop there. Freeman also made further allegations, claiming that attention was sometimes directed toward other topics to reduce focus on rumored personal matters involving people connected to the entertainment world during the era of the Steve Harvey Show.
Now you know that daughter, Lori Harvey, right?
Yes.
Well, I'm Lori Harvey's father.
You are Lori Harvey's father? Oh my God! Oh my...
Like I said, nobody knows that. I'm putting this out here for the very first time. Yes, that I am Lori Harvey.
While discussing these allegations, he mentioned Terry Vaughn and Renee McCall West Robinson, both of whom appeared on the show. These claims remain allegations and have not been substantiated. Freeman also alleged that Terry Vaughn was involved in a relationship with comedian Cedric the Entertainer during that period. He went on to claim that attention was directed toward Marjorie as a way to draw focus away from rumors connected to Steve's personal life. These allegations have circulated online for years, but they have never been verified and continue to spark debate whenever they resurface. As the discussion grew, Freeman made another claim that brought even more attention to the story. He publicly alleged that he is the biological father of Lori Harvey, a statement that quickly spread across social media and generated widespread conversation. In support of his claim, Freeman pointed to photos of himself from earlier years and argued that there was a noticeable resemblance between him and Lori. Freeman also claimed that Steve Harvey was aware of what he was saying. However, there is no verified evidence confirming these allegations, and they remain unproven. The reaction online was immediate, with many people expressing surprise and skepticism as the claims spread across social media and became the subject of intense discussion. At the same time, there is no publicly available evidence confirming any of these statements, so they should be viewed as allegations and speculation rather than facts. Even so, the certainty with which Freeman shared his story is one reason the topic continues to attract attention. What makes this even more interesting is that many of these rumors have been circulating for years and refuse to completely disappear. Over time, countless opinions, stories, and theories have surfaced about Steve and Marjorie's relationship. Some critics have argued that Marjorie was never as emotionally invested as Steve, while others have claimed that Steve has consistently supported the upscale lifestyle the couple is often associated with. These viewpoints have fueled ongoing discussions across social media and entertainment blogs. It's important to remember that these are opinions and claims, not proven facts. With a fresh wave of speculation now spreading online, some people are once again suggesting there may be issues behind the scenes. Others have theorized that Steve's measured responses to these rumors are connected to Marjorie's perceived influence within the family, though there is no evidence confirming those assumptions. As the speculation continues to spread online, it's important to separate rumors from confirmed information. Many of the claims being shared are based on assumptions and long-running discussions rather than verified facts. Some people have also revisited stories about Marjorie's past relationships and personal history.
Marjorie has her own spa, her own workout room, and her own spa. And she could go in there and get massages every day. People come to her house and work her out and all of that. I was like, oh God, what a dream. No, I haven't seen her, but she looks good on her pictures. No, she's not there. If she was there, we probably wouldn't have been all over the house.
Reports from years ago linked her former husband, Jim L. Townsend, to a high-profile legal case that drew widespread media attention at the time. That case remained in the public spotlight for years, which is one reason some online commentators continue to reference it whenever discussions about the Harvey family reappear. According to reports from that period, investigators examined whether Marjorie had any connection to matters related to the broader case involving her then-husband. Various accounts made claims about possible links, but those reports have remained the subject of debate and discussion over the years. However, no allegations against Marjorie were ultimately proven in court, and many of the claims that still circulate today come from reports, stories, and accounts that remain widely disputed. Over the years, different versions of the events have surfaced, making it difficult to separate established facts from ongoing speculation. Some reports also claim that Jim L. Townsend accepted responsibility in the case while attempting to shield his family during a challenging period. According to those accounts, the couple was expecting a child at the time, and there were concerns about how the situation could affect their family. These claims have been repeated for years, though many details continue to be debated and interpreted differently depending on the source. Years later, Townsend reportedly discussed plans to release a tell-all book titled Snakes in the Garden, The Untold Story of the Life of Jim, aka Jimmy L. Townsend. The proposed book was said to offer his personal perspective on that chapter of his life and quickly attracted attention from people who had followed the story for years. As interest in those past events grew, another controversy involving the Harvey family was also beginning to gain attention online, adding a new layer to an already widely discussed topic. Another development that drew attention was a leaked phone conversation involving Steve Harvey's longtime radio co-host, Shirley Strawberry. In the recording, Shirley allegedly discussed aspects of Steve and Marjorie's relationship, including claims about their personal dynamic and comments regarding how certain staff members were treated. The recording quickly became a topic of discussion among people already following the ongoing rumors. As often happens with celebrity stories, the alleged comments spread rapidly across social media, entertainment blogs, and online forums, leading to another round of speculation and debate. Supporters, critics, and curious observers all weighed in as the conversation continued to gain momentum. Beyond the remarks attributed to Shirley and the claims connected to Marjorie's former husband, another name frequently mentioned in these discussions is Steve Harvey's ex-wife, Mary.
I think about how quickly he moved forward from me to Marjorie. That was disturbing.
Over the years, Mary has publicly shared her perspective and made several claims regarding the relationship dynamics involving Steve and Marjorie. It's important to remember that these statements reflect her personal account and have been publicly disputed. Mary alleged that Marjorie was part of Steve's life while his previous marriage was still ongoing, but those allegations have not been independently verified and remain a matter of public debate. Mary also spoke publicly about the difficulties she says she faced after the divorce, describing major lifestyle changes and the challenge of adjusting to a very different situation. She discussed family-related disagreements as well and expressed her belief that Marjorie played an important role in some of those events. Like many high-profile family disputes involving public figures, these claims have been contested and continue to be debated years later. Another detail that often surfaces in these conversations involves claims made by William Freeman. According to Freeman, he came into contact with Steve Harvey's second wife, Mary Harvey, during the widely publicized divorce proceedings between Steve and Mary. He said the conversation happened at a time when the legal dispute was receiving significant media coverage and public attention. Freeman alleged that Mary personally contacted him and said, "Boom, I need you to tell the truth about what happened." He claimed that his initial response was that he did not want to become involved because of the complicated nature of the situation. According to Freeman, Mary felt that important details were being inaccurately represented in public discussions surrounding the divorce. As with other claims connected to this story, these allegations remain unverified. Freeman went on to make additional allegations about events he claims took place behind the scenes during that time. It's important to note that these claims have not been independently verified and remain disputed. When you look at the bigger picture, much of this story is built around a mix of serious allegations, long-running rumors, past interviews, and viral clips that continue to circulate across platforms like TikTok and X. Those clips have attracted a huge amount of attention, but many of the statements being discussed remain unconfirmed and are still heavily debated online. That's a major reason the story keeps resurfacing. Whenever one of these older interviews or clips starts trending again, social media users begin revisiting past headlines, archive posts, and previous interviews, searching for details they may have overlooked the first time around. What keeps people engaged is that much of the current conversation is not centered on newly uncovered information. Instead, many are re-examining older claims and comparing them with public statements that have been made over the years. Some believe the rumors have been addressed and denied enough times that the discussion should be over, while others argue there are still questions they feel have never been fully answered. Meanwhile, the Harvey family has largely remained focused on their careers, business projects, and public appearances despite the constant online discussion. As many celebrity news followers know, once a story starts gaining momentum on the internet, it often develops far beyond the original claims. Whether the allegations are accurate or not, the conversation continues to resurface, which is why people are still discussing it years later. As interest in the topic continued to grow, one issue became increasingly noticeable to many online observers. There are so many different versions of the story circulating that separating confirmed information from speculation has become a challenge. Depending on the source, key details can vary significantly, creating even more uncertainty and confusion around the situation. Because of that, many viewers have started paying closer attention to what can actually be verified through public records and documented statements versus what comes from interviews, personal recollections, and online discussions. Over the years, multiple people connected to the story have shared their perspectives, but those accounts have not always aligned with one another, keeping the debate alive. That gap between different accounts has become one of the biggest talking points whenever this story comes up again. At the same time, social media has played a major role in keeping the discussion active. Short video clips, reposted interviews, and years-old headlines can spread across multiple platforms within hours, putting the story in front of a whole new group of viewers. Before long, thousands of people are once again debating events that first made headlines years ago, creating another round of speculation and online discussion surrounding the Harvey family. What stands out to many observers is how quickly public opinion can change whenever a previously overlooked clip or interview begins trending. At one moment, many viewers believe the rumors have been thoroughly addressed, only for an older video to resurface and reignite the conversation all over again. That cycle has been a key reason the story continues to attract attention. Each new wave of interest brings fresh reactions, theories, and discussions from people trying to make sense of the conflicting claims. Another point frequently mentioned is the contrast between the online speculation and the public image presented by the family. Over the years, Steve and Marjorie have continued appearing together at events, sharing family milestones, and pursuing business ventures despite the ongoing rumors. For many supporters, those public appearances are often cited as a sign that at least some of the online speculation may be exaggerated or taken out of context. Still, critics argue that public appearances alone do not necessarily address every question that continues to be discussed online. That's where the conversation tends to split into two very different viewpoints. One side sees a long history of unproven allegations, rumors, and internet speculation, while the other believes there are still parts of the story that have not been fully clarified. As long as that divide remains, the topic is likely to resurface whenever a new headline, interview, or viral clip starts making the rounds. One thing that has become increasingly clear is that the internet rarely allows a major story to disappear completely. Even topics that seemed settled years ago can suddenly find their way back into public discussion when an old interview is reposted, a forgotten video reappears, or a past allegation starts trending again. What's particularly notable is how much of the current conversation is being driven by online communities analyzing timelines and comparing different versions of events. Many people spend time revisiting older statements, searching for inconsistencies, and debating whether certain claims align with comments that were made publicly in the past. That ongoing scrutiny continues to keep the discussion active. That dynamic has turned the entire situation into an ongoing discussion rather than a story with a clear conclusion. At the same time, many observers believe the rumors have expanded far beyond the facts that can actually be confirmed. They argue that years of speculation, repeated retellings, and viral social media posts have created a narrative that grows larger each time it gets shared. Whether someone views the story as a collection of unanswered questions or simply a cycle of recurring rumors, one thing is clear: public interest in the Harvey family remains remarkably strong. Comments such as, "How quickly he moved forward from me to Marjorie. That was disturbing," have continued to be referenced in discussions over the years, adding another layer to an already complex conversation. Beyond the rumors themselves, many people have become interested in how differently the story is told depending on the source. One interview may present a completely different version of events from a podcast appearance or a social media post. As a result, audiences are often left comparing competing accounts and trying to determine which details are supported by public information. That has led many viewers to wonder why these claims continue resurfacing after so many years. Is it simply the nature of celebrity stories attracting attention, or does each new interview introduce another detail that sparks fresh curiosity? That's a question that continues to come up whenever the topic begins trending again. What's undeniable is that the conversation has grown far beyond the original allegations. At this stage, people aren't just discussing a single rumor. They're revisiting past relationships, re-examining old interviews, and debating statements that were made years apart. Whenever someone connected to the story speaks publicly, even for a moment, social media users often begin analyzing every comment and searching for possible meanings behind the words. Because of that, the situation has expanded into something much larger than a single headline. For many followers of celebrity news, it has become an ongoing topic filled with competing theories, reactions, and unanswered questions. Each time the discussion returns, new perspectives emerge while older claims are brought back into the spotlight. Another factor that stands out is how difficult it becomes to separate original reports from the layers of opinions that accumulate over time. The longer a story remains in public discussion, the more likely it is that reactions, assumptions, and speculation become mixed in with the original claims. Eventually, those different elements can blend together and create a version of the narrative that spreads just as widely as the initial reports. Many observers believe that's exactly what has happened in this case. Years after the first rumors surfaced, people are still debating the same topics from different angles. Some view past interviews as important context, while others believe repeated retellings have only made the overall story more difficult to understand. The result is a discussion that seems to change and expand every time it returns to the spotlight. Another reason the topic continues attracting attention is that nearly every public appearance, interview, or social media post involving the Harvey family receives added scrutiny. Even a brief comment can spark hundreds of reactions, with viewers attempting to connect details that may not actually be connected at all. Because of that, what began as celebrity gossip has developed into a broader conversation about public image, perception, and the influence of social media. The way people continue responding whenever the subject resurfaces suggests that interest in the story has not faded. In fact, some observers have started asking a completely different question. Rather than focusing only on whether specific rumors are true or false, many are examining why these stories remain relevant for so long. In the modern social media landscape, an old clip can be reposted thousands of times and suddenly feel like a brand new development, even if it originally appeared years earlier. That constant recycling of content helps keep older controversies in circulation. That's one reason discussions involving the Harvey family often return in cycles. A podcast mention, a resurfaced interview, or an old social media post can quickly bring the entire topic back into public conversation. Before long, new audiences are discovering claims and debates that longtime followers have already seen discussed many times before. At the center of it all is the ongoing contrast between public perception and private reality. People on the outside only have access to limited information, while much of what happens behind the scenes remains unknown. That gap leaves room for interpretation, theories, and speculation. And as long as unanswered questions, conflicting accounts, and viral clips continue circulating online, the conversation is likely to keep drawing attention from curious audiences. For now, the biggest takeaway is that this story has grown into something much larger than the original claims. Whether people see it as a collection of unanswered questions, recycled rumors, or a combination of both, public interest remains strong. Every time an old clip, interview, or headline resurfaces, the conversation seems to restart with a new wave of reactions, theories, and online debate. What's especially interesting is how the discussion has expanded beyond the rumors themselves and become part of a larger conversation about celebrity culture. The Harvey family is far from the first high-profile family to face years of public speculation, and they likely won't be the last. However, the way this story continues resurfacing has made it a notable example of how narratives can shift and evolve online over time. Many longtime followers have pointed out that each new surge of attention introduces the story to a completely new audience. People who may have missed the original headlines are now discovering older interviews, archived videos, and social media discussions for the first time. As a result, topics that once seemed settled often find their way back into the spotlight and begin trending again. At the same time, others argue that the constant cycle of reposts, reactions, and commentary can sometimes make rumors appear larger than they really are. When the same claims are repeated across multiple platforms, they often gain greater visibility, even when little or no new information has been added to the discussion. That's exactly why this topic continues to spark such strong reactions. Some viewers see a collection of unanswered questions that keeps resurfacing, while others believe the story has grown far beyond the facts that can actually be confirmed. Either way, every old clip, interview, or public comment that reappears seems to add another layer to a discussion that refuses to completely leave the spotlight. Before wrapping up, it's important to keep one key point in mind. Steve and Marjorie Harvey have publicly denied many of the relationship rumors that have circulated over the years, and no verified evidence has been presented to prove the claims discussed throughout this story. Much of the conversation online is based on interviews, personal accounts, speculation, and theories that continue to generate debate across social media and entertainment platforms. As always, separating confirmed information from unverified claims is essential. In this video, we've looked at the timeline, the allegations, the public responses, and the online discussions that have kept people talking for years. With so many competing accounts and differing opinions, it's easy to see why the topic continues to generate attention whenever it resurfaces. Now it's your turn. What do you think? Do you believe this is another celebrity story that has taken on a life of its own through social media and repeated speculation? Or do you think there are still important questions that haven't been fully answered? Share your thoughts in the comments below and join the conversation. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to support Star Watch by hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel, and sharing this video with friends who follow celebrity news and entertainment stories. Also, turn on notifications so you never miss future uploads, breaking updates, and deep dives into the biggest stories making headlines. Thank you for watching Star Watch. We appreciate every viewer who takes the time to watch, comment, and be part of the community. Until next time, take care and peace.
The two snapped a photo together. Yerin had an interview with Elle magazine where she referenced MBJ as a hopeful run-in. Shortly after the event, Michael B. Jordan followed Yerin on Instagram. But then fans spotted comments on her post. Fans also noticed that MBJ had liked her post from 2025.
Celebrity crush. Come on, you can make it happen. You're very famous now.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't know his name, but he was in Black Panther, but he was the villain.
Oh, Michael B. Jordan?
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Do you want me to text him right now?
No.
I will. Seriously, someone get my phone. I'm going to text Michael and I'm going to tell him that he should meet you.
No. I'm okay.
All right.
And the moment instantly went viral.
Michael didn't ignore it either. He sent Naomi a personal video message.
At first, it looks like just another celebrity headline, but it's way more than that. This is about timing, success, and how relationships really play out behind the scenes. Once you get past the surface, a deeper conversation shows up alignment, growth, and what people truly want as their lives level up. Because this isn't just about who's dating who, it's about what happens when expectations don't line up. Michael B. Jordan is reportedly linked to Korean-Australian actress Yerin Ha, and people are already talking non-stop about it. She's not some random name either. You might recognize her as Sophie Beck from Bridgerton, where she had fans hooked with her looks, her energy, and the way she owned every scene. But she didn't just pop up out of nowhere. Before Bridgerton, she was handpicked by Steven Spielberg's team to star in Halo alongside Hakeem Woodbine. That's not luck, that's real industry backing, and it shows she's been on the radar for a while.
I took my first solo trip, and I was out in Japan solo. Just kind of went out there and just spent my time. Yeah.
What was your favorite part of the solo trip?
No questions. I ain't had to give no answers. It was actually just kind of chilling, being in my own thoughts. You know what I mean? Kind of just like reflecting a little bit on the last 2 years, which has been like a moving train, man. But it's been full of blessings, a lot of great opportunities, full of grace, and just ready to hit 2026 with hitting the ground running.
And her background? It's deep. Her grandmother, Sun Suk, is a legend in South Korean cinema and even a former minister. Talent clearly runs in the family. Now here's where it gets interesting. Yerin once mentioned Michael B. Jordan in an interview, then later they were spotted together at a SAG after party, and that's when things really started heating up. Michael, who usually keeps his social media clean and professional, suddenly had fans raising eyebrows. He was caught liking Yerin Ha's old post from 2025 and even dropping emojis on her TikToks like nobody was watching. And this wasn't just a quick scroll. He was deep in her page, liking posts you only find if you're really going back. Fans spotted it instantly and started connecting the dots. It didn't stop there either. He was also interacting with her TikTok clips through Bridgerton fan accounts, making it all look way more intentional. And just to add context, Yerin isn't the first star to notice him. Back in 2018, Naomi Osaka called Michael her celebrity crush, and that moment went viral fast. Michael didn't ignore it either. He sent Naomi Osaka a personal video message, and she was blushing for weeks. Fans were eating it up, even though nothing romantic came from it. Now people are looking back at that moment like, was that the start of a pattern? Because the more you look, the more it starts to line up. Michael has shown real interest in Asian culture for years, from loving the food to even bringing in a celebrity chef for a private cooking session at his own place. That's not casual, that's real appreciation.
Michael B. Jordan, the director and the star of Creed 3. And you know, we know each other. We go way back all the way to Chad Science in Newark, okay?
The corny kid, right?
No, I did not say that. Misquoted for sure. No, you did not hear me say. I said we used to make fun of the name. But yeah, he is obviously killing things out here. Well, you're not corny anymore.
He also took a solo trip to Japan, fully diving into the culture. And now fans are all saying the same thing. This connection doesn't feel random at all. Michael B. Jordan wasn't just another student at Arts High School in Newark, he was already moving different. While most people were caught up in social circles, he was thinking bigger, landing acting roles on The Wire, and quietly building something real. He'd show up with headshots ready, focused, and not trying to impress anyone the usual way. That kind of energy stood out fast. He wasn't chasing popularity, and he definitely wasn't copying the crowd. Instead, he stayed low-key, respectful, and drama-free, keeping his circle tight and his goals even tighter. He didn't need to be loud, his ambition spoke for itself and set him apart in a major way. Of course, moving different gets people talking. Some didn't get him and started throwing labels around, but Michael didn't fold. He stayed consistent, never switched up, and that discipline later turned into one of his biggest strengths. As his name started buzzing beyond school, that same focus turned into something bigger, and suddenly, people who doubted him had to rethink everything. When Michael B. Jordan was later linked to Marjorie Harvey, fans started connecting the dots real quick. This wasn't just some random glow-up story. He had been building from day one, even when nobody fully saw the vision. And here's the wild part. People used to call him corny. Yeah, that label was thrown around, but Michael didn't run from it at all. He leaned into it and let the results speak loud. As he got older, he proved that staying focused, disciplined, and true to yourself actually pays off in a big way. The same traits people joked about? Those became part of his winning formula. And this hits deeper than just him. A lot of people know what it's like to be overlooked for being serious, respectful, or just different. That pressure can mess with confidence, especially socially, but Michael didn't let it box him in.
Yes, I'm on vacation right now, okay? I'm traveling around. And newsflash, okay? All right? Yeah. There's not a lot of black women in Italy, okay? It's not. It's just not. I'm sorry. It's not, okay? You know what I'm saying? The milk after that, I like that too. That's pretty good, all right? I like milk, period. Y'all just doing a lot. Y'all gotta chill.
What's the craziest rumor you've ever heard about yourself?
That I don't date black women.
Instead, he used it as fuel. Those early experiences didn't hold him back. They sharpened him. As new doors opened, he stepped into bigger spaces, met new people, and leveled up his whole perspective fast. And that shift is something a lot of people can relate to. Some people stayed in the same place, but others moved to new cities, and some even left the country completely. And once you start living in different environments, everything starts to shift. New cultures, new people, new energy. It can really change how you see yourself and what you start valuing in others. That kind of exposure naturally carries over into dating too. You meet different kinds of women, hear new perspectives, and start understanding connections on a deeper level. And that's exactly the lane Michael stepped into as his life kept rising and his circle kept expanding. People definitely noticed. For a while, he was linked to women from different backgrounds, and that quickly became a hot topic. Everyone had something to say, trying to break down his preferences like they had insider info. Then everything shifted when he went public with Marjorie Harvey. Suddenly, all eyes were locked in, and the conversation flipped overnight. People switched up quick, but just as fast as it started, it ended. And Michael? He didn't miss a step. He went right back into his zone, focused, disciplined, and building his name even bigger. No distractions, no noise, just work and elevation. But the internet never looks away. As soon as he was single again, new rumors started heating up, this time linking him to Asian actress Yerin Ha, especially after he was reportedly spotted out in Malibu shortly after a major career moment. Now, Jeffries isn't just any random spot, it's a low-key celebrity hideout. This is where big names go when they want privacy, no cameras, no chaos. And that's exactly where Michael B. Jordan was seen, which instantly made people pay attention.
Especially at the gym, they'll smile at you, say hello to you, how you doing, how's it going? A black woman, she ain't saying shit. She walk around with the look like she lost her EBT card. They got this demeanor on their look like, when I'm gonna get these bills paid, or when I'm gonna get this college student debt loan paid off. Just a lot of things, they're just not approachable.
Reports said he was there enjoying dinner and drinks with Yerin Ha, and you already know the internet was watching closely. Witnesses said this didn't look like a casual meetup at all. The vibe felt warm, natural, and full of energy. Michael was all smiles. She looked stunning, and the chemistry. Yeah, people picked up on that fast. And moments like this always spark bigger conversations. This quickly turned into a whole debate about successful, driven men, especially in black communities, and who they choose to date. Everyone had an opinion, and things got loud quick. One perspective that got people talking came from brother Mark Cruz, who suggested some women can come off less approachable. But that take? Not everyone agreed with it at all. Some people argued that confidence and high standards get misunderstood all the time. What looks like distance could really just be someone knowing their worth. Others pushed back, saying it's more about communication, timing, and how people present themselves. Either way, this wasn't just about one dinner anymore. It turned into a bigger conversation about perception, reality, and how fast people jump to conclusions. And let's be real, modern dating has changed a lot. Social media, lifestyle expectations, and past experiences all shape how people connect now. That's why debates like this get intense, because everyone's bringing their own perspective into it. Then, another layer gets added, and this is where the conversation really takes off. Some people claim Asian women come across as more open, more engaging, and easier to approach in social settings. But even that idea, it's not as simple as it sounds. What one person sees as more open, someone else might see as a different communication style or just cultural differences. It's not about one group being one way and another being something else. That kind of thinking misses the bigger picture completely. A lot of this really comes down to individual personalities, the environment, and how two people connect in a moment. Still, these comparisons keep popping up and they start shaping how people think about dating in a major way. For some men, those experiences push them to explore different connections, especially if they feel a different kind of energy. But that doesn't make one side better than the other at all. It just shows how strong perception and personal experience can be over time.
I mean, I was never one of those people who was like, man, black girls just don't like me. Like, I knew that there were black women that liked me, but my thought process was like, black women don't like me the way that I like them. You know what I mean? Like, they kind of like me. They don't like me the way that I like them, which, I don't know, that might.
And then a perspective came in that really made people stop and think. One guy said it straight, there are black women who like me, and I definitely love black women. But he also admitted the women he's most interested in don't always match his energy, and that mismatch can feel frustrating. He added that with women from other backgrounds, the vibe sometimes feels more mutual, more natural, and easier to flow with, and experiences like that can shape how someone moves in dating. Now bring it back to Michael and Lori. From the outside, it looked like he may have wanted something deeper, while she was in a different phase, and when timing doesn't match, even strong connections can fall apart. So what does that really show? Simple, it means there was interest, but not always on the same level or moving in the same direction. One person might be all in, fully invested, while the other is still figuring things out. That's where timing, priorities, and real intentions start to matter. Two people can have a real connection and still not be aligned where it counts. Now imagine this, you're successful, focused, and clear about what you want, but the person you're drawn to doesn't feel the same way. That's where things get tricky fast. Because no matter how much you've achieved, attraction doesn't follow a checklist. And this is where the conversation gets real. Some people are now saying that shared background alone isn't enough to drive dating decisions anymore. Just because two people come from the same culture doesn't mean they'll connect or even want the same things. For many, especially those with more options, dating becomes more open and less restricted. People start chasing real alignment instead of feeling stuck in one lane, and that shift is changing everything. Now look at someone like Michael B. Jordan. He moves in high-level circles, surrounded by people from all kinds of backgrounds. In places like Hollywood and Malibu, diversity is normal, and so are the connections that come with it. That kind of exposure makes it natural to connect across different spaces. It's not about choosing one over another, it's about going where the energy feels right. And if something doesn't match, he's not stuck, he keeps moving forward. He has the freedom to move forward and meet someone who actually matches where he is in life. And that's the reality for a lot of successful men moving through new spaces and meeting new people all the time. Now, here's something that needs to be said clearly. A lot of black men genuinely care about black women, no question. The respect is there, the attraction is real, and the connection absolutely exists. But sometimes, the challenge comes down to how people relate to each other, and that's where things can get complicated fast. On a day-to-day level, it gets nuanced. Success alone doesn't guarantee a real connection. You can have status, options, and everything looking right on paper, but what really matters is what happens after that. How you communicate, how you connect, and how well you understand each other's world. And for some people, it can take time to connect with someone who moves differently, and that's not a flaw at all. It's just different life experiences and perspectives. Even when both people are successful, that doesn't automatically mean they're the right match. Look at Michael B. Jordan and Marjorie Harvey. From the outside, everything looked perfect: status, attraction, visibility. But if the deeper connection isn't there, things can quietly fall apart. Sometimes it's not drama, it's just realization. And when someone feels like their energy or vision isn't being matched, they move accordingly. At the end of the day, if someone doesn't fully value what you bring, someone else will, and that's what keeps people moving. So now the big question people keep asking is, did Marjorie Harvey fumble the bag? That's the headline people love to run with, and it grabs attention every single time. But the real answer? It's not that simple at all. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't, because everyone's timing, priorities, and path look completely different. She's still young, still building her life, and still has options in every direction, and that part often gets ignored when people rush to judge. What really has people talking is the pattern they think they're seeing. Sometimes a man who's focused, disciplined, and moving with purpose doesn't come off as exciting in the usual way. He's not the loudest, not the most unpredictable, and in today's world, that can get misunderstood fast. So when that kind of man gets overlooked, people notice. And when someone from a different background comes in and values those exact same traits, that's when the conversation really heats up. Let's be real, a man who's a builder, who stays locked into his goals, isn't always flashy or spontaneous. His life is structured, his routine is tight, and his focus is long-term success. That kind of energy can feel calm, even predictable, in a world that pushes constant excitement. But that doesn't mean there's no depth. It just means his priorities are different. For some, that feels like stability and security, but for others, it might feel like something's missing. And that's where expectations start to clash. One person values consistency, while the other might want more emotional spark day to day. When people look back at Michael B. Jordan and Marjorie Harvey, they try to turn it into a win or a loss, but relationships don't work like scoreboards. It's not about who won or who lost. It's about alignment, timing, and what both people truly want out of life. And let's not skip this part. Being with a man like that comes with real sacrifices, no way around it. When someone is locked in on building something long-term, their time, energy, and focus are all tied to that mission. That kind of lifestyle can feel intense if you're not used to it. If you didn't grow up around that kind of drive, it might even feel frustrating at times. A routine built on discipline, structure, and constant work isn't always easy to adjust to. That doesn't mean it can't work, but it takes real understanding and patience from both sides. On the flip side, some women already understand that life. Maybe they've seen it before, so they know what comes with it. They get that supporting someone who's building means giving space, respecting the process, and being aligned with a bigger vision. And when that understanding is there, everything flows smoother. Here's another layer people don't always say out loud. When a man spends years leveling up with discipline and focus, he naturally ends up with more options. That's just reality. But here's the truth, neither side is wrong. Some people value stability and long-term focus, while others want more emotional excitement day to day. So again, it's not about winning or losing, it's about what fits. Maybe they've seen it through family or past relationships, so they already know what comes with it. They understand that supporting a man who's building means making space for his goals, respecting his process, and staying aligned with a bigger vision. That kind of awareness makes everything flow smoother and cuts out a lot of unnecessary tension. Now let's talk about growth. When a man spends years leveling up through discipline, consistency, and focus, he naturally ends up with more options. That's just how it works. And once those doors open, his choices aren't just about attraction anymore, they're about alignment. Success opens real doors. And over time, those opportunities only get bigger, especially for someone who stayed locked in and never lost focus. As the years go by, they keep building, stacking wins, and creating real stability. So when they finally reach that level, they're not just looking for anyone. They want someone who truly understands that journey, someone who respects what it took and can connect with that experience on a deeper level. That's why you'll often see them gravitate toward women who match their lifestyle and mindset. When that alignment is there, everything just feels more natural and balanced. Looking at Michael B. Jordan and Marjorie Harvey, people can debate it all day, but from the outside, there was clearly something real at one point. And if it didn't work out, that's life. Sometimes it just means the alignment wasn't fully there, and when someone moves on, it can simply mean the next connection fits better. So what do you think really happened here? Was this just a timing issue, or do you think something deeper was going on behind the scenes? And if things had played out differently, could this have actually lasted long term? I really want to hear your take on this, so drop your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about this whole situation? Thanks for watching. I appreciate you being here. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, share, and if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to Star Watch so you don't miss what's coming next. And trust me, you'll want to check out the other videos on the channel. There's a lot more stories just like this waiting for you. All right, I'll catch you in the next on.
That's a toxic relationship.
But every time they say I'm crazy, it's just when I'm saying the truth.
Steve Harvey, once recognized as a comedian who stepped into the role of a relationship expert.
Before I get started, just let me say, I'm fine. Fine.
Is now surrounded by a storm of controversy that has everyone talking. Rumors are spreading fast across Hollywood, and the attention has shifted straight to Marjorie, his wife.
Please welcome the chick of my dreams, my wife, Marjorie. Now, the first word I ever said to her was, I don't know who you are, but I'm gonna marry you one day.
What's really catching people off guard is the claim that she may have been involved with not just one, but two individuals from Steve's own inner circle. That detail alone is making people rethink everything they believed about their polished, picture-perfect image, and it's creating a wave of doubt that keeps getting louder as more people start paying attention. Welcome back to Celeb Live. An insider who decided to stay anonymous shared that this situation was not exactly hidden from those close to it. According to them, it's been an open secret in our circle. They pointed out small but noticeable moments, like lingering looks during public events and quiet conversations that felt just a bit too private. They explained that if you were really watching closely, the signs were there all along, just subtle enough to avoid major attention at the time, but clear enough now to raise serious questions. As the rumors continue to grow, more details are surfacing about her alleged connection with Steve's bodyguard and even his personal chef.
Other than your relationship with God, who you choose to spend the rest of your life with is the single most important decision you will ever make.
The bodyguard was reportedly always nearby, staying close to her in a way that some people found unusual. When it comes to the chef, whispers suggest his role may have gone beyond the kitchen. That part of the story is driving even more speculation, adding another layer to an already complicated situation that has people talking from every angle. Things took a sharper turn when Kanye West entered the conversation. Known for saying exactly what's on his mind online, he dropped a cryptic message during one of his viral moments, writing, "Seeing some things I shouldn't have." That one line instantly set social media off, with fans rushing to figure out what he meant and who he could be talking about. The timing made it even more intense, and people quickly started connecting dots, even without clear answers. Some fans are convinced Kanye's comment was aimed at a resurfaced photo of Marjorie, where she appeared in a bold outfit with the American flag displayed behind her.
Where did I meet you?
Oh,
First time we met.
Memphis,
Where?
at a comedy club.
A source close to him claimed he had a strong reaction to that image, reportedly saying, "If that's the face of the American dream, we're headed down a treacherous path." That statement added another layer of tension, pushing the conversation into deeper territory and making the situation feel even more serious as opinions started to split across the internet. The mogul, known for speaking without holding back, later shared more during a surprise radio interview. He said, "There's a line between art and disrespect. Sometimes even family makes mistakes." That comment had people analyzing every word, trying to read between the lines and figure out who he meant. Around that same time, Steve addressed the growing whispers in his own subtle way during a charity event. He didn't directly mention the rumors, but he paused and said, "Oh, before I get started," leaving the room tense and filled with curiosity about what might come next. Meanwhile, Marjorie, usually recognized for her calm and polished presence, has remained completely silent about all the claims. That silence is only making people talk more. Those close to her say the attention has been overwhelming, especially with how fast everything is spreading online. One insider shared, "Marjorie feels like she's under a microscope."
Marjorie we got together at a point in our life where we had both failed at this miserably. And it just wasn't. Failure wasn't an option.
She confided one picture, and the world paints a story set. That kind of pressure is reportedly starting to weigh on her, with every move being watched, analyzed, and picked apart. What once appeared to be a flawless relationship between her and Steve is now being viewed in a very different light, with people questioning details they never paid attention to before and wondering what else might be going on behind the scenes. At the same time, there's growing conversation about what all of this could mean for Steve's image as a relationship expert. An old quote from one of his interviews has resurfaced, where he said, "Every man has a breaking point, a moment when he must face the music." That line is landing differently now, especially with everything happening around him. As more rumors spread, insiders continue to speak out, and well-known figures add their voices. The situation keeps building. The spotlight is firmly on the Harvey household, with people watching closely, waiting to see how this situation develops and what might come out next in a story filled with tension and unanswered questions. The situation surrounding Steve and Marjorie keeps getting more intense, and now there's growing talk that their nearly 16-year marriage could be reaching a serious breaking point. Conversations in Hollywood are picking up, with claims that Marjorie might be considering stepping away from everything. It's not just about emotions either, because people are already speculating about what a possible split could mean for Steve's reported $300 million fortune, and how that kind of shift could play out in public and behind closed doors. The stakes are being discussed from every angle, and the pressure around them seems to be building fast. Sources say their history goes back decades. Steve, now 66, and Marjorie, 58, first met in the 1990s, and people describe that moment as something that instantly stood out. There was a strong connection, but life didn't line up for them at the time, and they ended up going their separate ways. Years later, in 2005, they found their way back to each other, and that reunion has often been described as perfect timing finally falling into place. To many watching from the outside, it felt like everything clicked exactly when it was supposed to. After reconnecting, things moved fast. Within a year, during what some describe as a complicated chapter in Steve's personal life, they made things official and got married in 2007. At the time, the story was framed like a real-life fairy tale, something people pointed to as proof that timing is everything. Now, that same story is being looked at with more questions, as people start to wonder if it was ever as smooth as it appeared or if certain details were overlooked. Another name that keeps surfacing in these conversations is William Big Boom Freeman, often labeled online as the viral bodyguard. As rumors continue to spread, more claims about his connection to the couple are being discussed. Some say his involvement may have gone beyond security, and here's the detail that has really caught attention. He was reportedly the one who helped reconnect Steve and Marjorie back in 2005, almost acting like an unexpected middleman in bringing them back together, which adds a surprising layer to an already complicated story. Digging into his online posts, especially on Facebook, people started uncovering statements that quickly grabbed attention. One post read, "I want lovers to realize that when you're in love and living a criminal lifestyle, you can't spill all your secrets." That single line pushed the conversation even further, with many trying to connect it to everything already being said. It added a new layer of mystery to a situation that already had people watching closely, and the tone of the message made it feel like there was more behind it than what was being shown on the surface. At some point, even the strongest relationships can reach a breaking point, and emotions can shift everything in an instant. As one post put it, "Hell hath no fury like a lover scorned," and moments like that can turn private situations into public ones very quickly. The message came across as a warning, suggesting people should be careful about what they share and who they trust. Those quiet conversations and personal confessions can resurface in ways no one expects, and that idea alone had people analyzing every word, trying to figure out who the message could be directed toward and what it might reveal. He continued sharing deeper thoughts in another reflective post, writing, "Beauty often conceals anguish, be it lavish mansions." He expanded on how people get caught up in appearances, focusing on luxury homes, expensive cars, and perfectly crafted images while ignoring what could be happening underneath. "We're so fixated on the facade, oblivious to the wounds within," he added. The message painted a vivid picture of hidden struggles, hinting that behind grand gates there could be emotional weight, inside luxury cars there could be silent battles, and behind glamorous images there could be real loneliness that no one sees. While all of this continued to circulate, Steve briefly addressed the speculation during one of his morning segments. He didn't directly confirm anything or point at anyone, but he made it clear that his main concern is how the situation is affecting his family. He spoke about the impact on his children, who are now caught up in the attention surrounding the rumors, and how difficult that spotlight can be when personal matters become public discussion. That moment added a more serious tone to everything unfolding. Steve Harvey, once widely known for comedy, hosting, and uplifting television moments, is now seeing his name connected to controversy more often. Outside of television, he built a strong reputation as a businessman, creating a men's fashion line and working with major brands across different industries. His career has always stretched beyond one lane, showing his ability to stay relevant and adapt, even as the conversation around him continues to shift in unexpected ways. Now, those same business ventures are being pulled into attention for reasons that have nothing to do with success. Reports from insiders suggest that some major companies are starting to move more carefully when it comes to their partnerships. One brand analyst reportedly said, "Steve Harvey's personal-led controversies have led to potential brand erosion." That kind of statement shows how quickly personal situations can spill into professional deals. Especially when the public is watching every move and forming opinions in real time. It also highlights how fragile brand relationships can become when headlines shift in an unexpected direction. Right now, several companies are said to be taking a cautious approach, choosing to stay clear of anything that could bring unwanted attention during uncertain moments. Even so, not everything around Steve is being framed negatively. An insider from his circle shared that he may be preparing to launch a new motivational platform focused on overcoming personal struggles and rebuilding through challenges. If that turns out to be accurate, it could signal an effort to redirect the narrative and place more focus on growth, resilience, and lessons learned rather than the setbacks currently making noise. At the same time, attention has shifted heavily toward Marjorie. Known for her polished image and regular presence at high-profile events, her next move has become a major talking point. There's increasing discussion that she could be entering a new chapter in her life, especially with everything happening around her. It's not unusual for public figures to make significant personal changes after facing intense relationship pressure, and many are starting to believe she could be heading in that direction as well. A source close to her told Celeb Life Weekly, Marjorie is considering a quieter life away from the flashing cameras. According to that same insider, she has been exploring properties in more private areas, possibly planning a move away from the constant pace of Los Angeles. That detail made it seem like she was ready to step back and create distance from the spotlight. But just as that idea started to settle in, the situation shifted again in a way that caught many off guard. Her recent appearance at Paris Fashion Week sparked a whole new wave of conversation. She arrived in a bold, eye-catching outfit and was seated front row next to some of the biggest names in fashion. That moment left a lot of people confused because it didn't line up with the idea of someone stepping away from the spotlight anytime soon. Instead, it gave off a completely different energy, almost like she's keeping everyone guessing and refusing to follow the narrative people have already created around her. The contrast between what's being said and what's being seen only made the situation feel even more unpredictable. Behind the scenes, there are also reports that both Steve and Marjorie have been seeking guidance during this time, not just from close friends but from professionals as well. Dr. Phil, who has a long-standing connection with Steve, shared on his show, relationships in the limelight have their unique pressures. I've always advised my friends to seek help when needed. That statement added more depth to the conversation, showing that even high-profile couples can reach a point where outside perspective becomes necessary when things start to feel overwhelming. There's also speculation that they may have connected with Dr. Laura Berman, a well-known therapist who works with high-profile clients. An insider told Heart of Healing Monthly, Steve and Marjorie were seen leaving Dr. Berman's clinic last month. They seemed deep in conversation, which has led many to believe they could be trying to work through their issues privately. If that detail is accurate, it suggests there are still serious discussions happening behind closed doors, away from the cameras and constant public attention. Not everyone is convinced this situation will settle down anytime soon, and for many, it goes far beyond just Steve and Marjorie. It also pulls in the millions of people who have followed their journey over the years, watching every high and low unfold in public. That emotional investment is showing up strongly in comment sections across platforms where opinions are coming in fast and without hesitation. The conversation has taken on a life of its own, with people feeling personally connected to what's happening and eager to share exactly how they see it. One YouTube commenter didn't hold back at all, writing, "He's so ignorant over a woman who has never been faithful a day in her life. She's used him the whole time." That harsh opinion questions Steve's judgment and paints a very critical picture of the relationship. Others seem to echo that same energy, suggesting he may have been too caught up in his emotions and possibly overlooked signs that, in their view, were there all along. Those takes are adding intensity to an already heated discussion, with people building on each other's opinions. Another comment approached things from a different angle, bringing attention to Steve's long history of giving relationship advice. "I don't feel sorry for him so much for being a relationship guru." That statement highlights the irony many are pointing out. For someone known for guiding others through complicated relationships, facing personal challenges like this in such a public way adds a different kind of pressure, and people are quick to call that out. Still, not every voice is critical or harsh. Some are calling for more understanding and less judgment. One user shared, "It's hard when you have to practice what you preach. If it's true, it's none of our business. Let them work it out on their own, without our 2 cents." That perspective pushes back against the constant scrutiny, reminding others that public figures are still people dealing with real situations behind the scenes. There are also fans revisiting Steve's own past advice and applying it to the current moment. One comment pointed out, "Those words will come back to haunt Steve Harvey. Change for one woman, but will the woman change for you?" That reflection ties directly to his earlier messages, adding another layer to how people are interpreting everything now and showing how quickly past words can resurface in a completely different light. Across the board, reactions are mixed and intense, with people split in every direction. Some lean toward skepticism, others show empathy, and many are stuck somewhere in the middle trying to figure out what to believe. Whether people are rooting for things to be fixed or expecting everything to fall apart, one thing is clear. The public is watching closely, and the opinions are not slowing down anytime soon. Every new detail, real or rumored, keeps adding to a situation that already feels overwhelming and hard to fully understand. Their lives have influenced so many people over the years, and now this chapter has pulled everyone back in, watching closely to see what happens next. As the Harvey story keeps unfolding, social media stays active non-stop, filled with theories, reactions, and so-called insider details that spread fast. In a time where information moves instantly, it raises real questions about what is actually true and what is just noise getting repeated until it sounds believable. That uncertainty is what keeps people hooked and constantly checking for updates. Only time will reveal how this really plays out. For now, the twists and turns have people fully locked in, watching every move as it happens. Hollywood continues to produce moments that catch everyone off guard, and this situation is no different. But now it shifts to you. What's your take on everything happening right now? Do these posts and reactions point to something real, or are they just adding confusion to an already complicated situation that keeps evolving? Drop your thoughts in the comments and get involved in the discussion. This topic has people divided, and every opinion brings a different perspective into the mix. Thanks for staying with us through this full breakdown of one of the most talked about celebrity situations right now. If you enjoyed this, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Star Watch so you stay connected with all the latest updates. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything as this story continues to develop and new details begin to surface. Stay tapped in, stay informed, and keep the conversation going.
I met Bernie years and years ago when I used to have a golf tournament down in Bermuda. And Bernie was the highlight of my comedy give to you. And Bernie, unlike me, I get angry about it.
For years, most people looked at Marjorie Harvey.
They sit on the side, ooh, that's funny. Next thing you know, you see it on HBO or something, you be sitting at home, that shit's mine, you know? But ain't nobody gonna believe first come first.
As the woman standing beside one of the biggest names in entertainment. But now, a wave of old claims, personal accusations, and resurfaced stories has people taking a much closer look at her alleged role behind the scenes.
If you sign up for their program, you get a light-skinned, weird-faced wife that never do an interview.
Samuel.
Critics and former insiders have started connecting dots that paint a very different picture, one that goes far beyond the public image fans have seen for years. Some believe Marjorie wasn't simply present during major decisions in Steve Harvey's life and career. According to various allegations, she may have had significant influence over relationships, business choices, and family dynamics that later became major sources of controversy.
Always carry yourself like a lady. Being a lady never goes out of style.
That brings us to Samuel L. Jackson and Katt Williams, who have both been linked to conversations surrounding these claims. The discussion isn't just about Steve Harvey anymore. It's about whether Marjorie had more power behind the curtain than anyone realized. According to these allegations, she wasn't a passive observer. Some critics claim she was actively shaping outcomes that affected careers, friendships, and even family relationships. One of the most talked about accusations involves Steve's late friend and comedy legend Bernie Mac. According to recent claims that have resurfaced online, Steve allegedly worked against Bernie during key moments in his career. Those accusations have sparked intense debate because Steve publicly mourned Bernie after his passing and has often spoken respectfully about him over the years. The story becomes even more controversial when some people suggest that outside influences may have played a role in that reported tension. If any of these allegations are true, it raises serious questions about what was really happening behind the scenes during the Kings of Comedy era and whether the public ever got the full story. Meanwhile, separate claims from Steve's ex-wife Mary have fueled even more speculation, with allegations involving family conflicts, loyalty disputes, and disagreements over money.
Mac always said he walked alone. I don't think he was walking alone at all. I think Bernie was walking with Jesus the whole time. I just hope Jesus.
add in ongoing discussions about Marjorie's past relationships, and it's easy to see why these stories continue generating so much attention today. What makes this story even more surprising is that Bernie Mac didn't stay silent about the tension. Years before many of these discussions started circulating online again, Bernie openly addressed his issues with Steve Harvey during a high-profile interview. His comments have since become a major talking point whenever people revisit the complicated history between the two comedy stars. Back in 2003, Bernie sat down with GQ magazine and spoke candidly about what he believed was happening behind the scenes. According to the article, Bernie claimed that Steve was jealous of his success and had allegedly attempted to secure opportunities that were originally headed Bernie's way.
Kings of comedy. They used to let Steve Harvey was the headliner because at the time he was having the most. He was the most famous.
Right.
But he was bombing too many nights coming behind DL, Sid, and Bernie. They had to make him the host. But Steve Harvey found a way. Even though he wasn't talented, he still found a way. You gotta have the courage to find Steve Harvey and say, Steve, sir, show me how you did it. Show me how you made it with no talent. Find a talentless comedian who made it and ask him, what do you have to do to get it? Even though I could tell you, it's either kiss ass or boys. Steve Harvey kissed. That's how he got it. Everybody thinks Steve Harvey's some stand-up ass man. No, motherfucker, he kissed the old girl who owned TV.
One of the biggest examples mentioned involved the hit film Ocean's 11. The report stated that someone associated with Steve's team allegedly contacted director Steven Soderbergh and tried to persuade him to consider Steve for the role instead. When GQ asked Bernie how he reacted after hearing about the situation,